Welcome to the EST Hangout.
This is the EST Hangout, and today's guests are...
Good Friday morning, or good Monday morning to you. Welcome to the EST Hangout presented by Two Hoots Hard Iced Tea, a Boulder Real Brew Tea. Don't just give a hoot, give two. Just wanting it to be Friday already, I guess.
Wow. How many Two Hoots have you had already this morning if you can't remember what day it is?
Well, it's my Thursday. I'm only here till tomorrow and then I'm done. So I can't even say that. Like, it's not even like it's my only day of the week or something. So I have no idea why I said Friday. Matt Iwanyk, Tom Gazzola with you here on the Hangout, live on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Tune in iHeartRadio, as well as those watching on YouTube. Murray McCourt from the VAP Golf Show joining us. It is kind of perfect that he's on. We have this hole-in-one contest that we're doing, $100,000, presented by Golf Town, taking place at the Ranch Golf and Country Club. Hole 17, 180 yards out, July 3rd. We will qualify someone for that today. Murray got a hole-in-one yesterday, too. Which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
He's been explaining it to us. We will get into this hole-in-one with Murray shortly right away here. So congratulations, though, Murray. This is pretty exciting.
Much, yeah.
It just ties in perfectly with what we're doing here.
Love it.
At EST. We will talk some Oilers. Stay forced to Game 5, which will take place tomorrow night. We will talk some Elks. We will talk some U.S. Open. Bryson getting the win. Rory McIlroy just blowing it completely. So there's a lot to get to on the show today. A qualifying opportunity for the Great Outdoors Comedy Festival. And at 10 o'clock, we got Belgium. And who's playing Belgium? Slovakia. Belgium and Slovakia right on my laptop. It's focused right on me because I don't think either of you two care about that.
I think you should turn it a little bit more so I don't have to see it.
We could do that. Unfortunately, I'm in a bitter, pissy mood to start because Ukraine lost 3-0. So it wasn't. I woke up early to watch Ukraine lose 3-0. Should have got the win. That first goal was just bad.
It's 3-0. You shouldn't have got the win.
3-0. Well, no, they should have. They're a better team. The first goal, it was just brutal communication, brutal play. And it's the Italians on Saturday, too. I don't know if you saw any of it.
I saw some of it.
The first,
they won.
they throw in 22 seconds in was the worst throw-in I've ever seen in my life. And we fell down 1-0 right off the bat, but we got the win in that one. So
that's what happens when you break pasta in front of our fans.
Oh, just the disrespect that Albania had. There was before the match, there was a bunch of there was an Albanian fan that took some pasta and broke it in front of the Italians.
Absolutely hilarious.
That is a big time no.
Vancouver fans could learn something from.
Don't you break your pasta when you cook it yourself?
No.
Put it in. You
That's
put
a
the
big
whole
no-no.
long spaghetti.
Hold on a second. You break your pasta before you put it in?
Yes, in half.
No.
You need to leave. You got two Italians here right now.
Pardon me?
Excuse
I love
me?
my spaghetti.
Yeah, you're not eating spaghetti now. Why are you breaking it?
Well,
you just put it in and it'll cook.
It'll just fall in.
And it'll fall in and it cooks better that way.
Yeah.
You're
That's how it's meant to
disgracing
be.
Italians.
All right.
You've disgraced an entire nation.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Were you breaking pasta the other day too?
Oh
my goodness, Murray.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, we got so.
I didn't know you weren't supposed to break it.
Yeah.
Of course you're.
Don't break it.
Blame my mother. She taught me how to do that when I was a kid.
Well, I'm not going to blame your mother.
No,
I'm just going to blame you.
Yeah. All right, fine.
Okay, let's get into the story of the weekend. Okay, we got to start with the golf show. 8 o'clock in the morning, 8 to 10. You could catch it. EST.
Yep.
It's all podcasted. There'll be a replay. The replay is going to change tomorrow. The time
moving the replay?
because it's 4:30 till 6.
Right,
GCLD's
yes.
the oil stream
That's
pregame
right.
show. So
That big game.
we'll have to adjust the time. But okay, on the golf show, Curtis asked you, how many hole-in-ones have you had?
Yeah. He asked me how many, and I said 2. So I explained the story of my second one because it's a pretty cool story. The longest day of golf. I played 330 holes that day, 262nd hole of the day. I got a hole-in-one, won a trip or 2 to Europe. Pretty cool story. And so I said, that's 2. And I said, but it's been a long time. Mm-hmm. So I said, I'm due. Maybe today's the day because it would be really fun to get one on the Sunday match with Carius and playing with the boys I always play with. So maybe today's the day. I said it in the morning and then bam.
Take us through it now.
Yeah.
Take us through because you birdied 17. Or 7, sorry.
Yeah.
You birdied 7.
Well, I birdied 1, bogeyed 5, birdied 7. So I was 1 under and the crazy wind and whatnot. And so I actually didn't have honor on the 8th hole because Piercy had made birdie as well. And But I said to Carius, I said, oh, those guys are lollygagging over there. I'm just going to hit. So I went and hit first, and it's 167 yards, big wind, and I hit 8-iron, and it's just flying in the air. I hit it really good, and it's up in the air. And I'm like, whew, that's right at it. That might be pretty good. And then I'm looking, it just disappeared. And I'm like, I think that's in the hole. And Piercy goes, that is in the hole. And then somebody else said, I'm not sure. And I'm like, okay, now there's some question if this is in or not. So I just dropped my club on the ground and I sprinted up to the green.
Yeah.
And I get on the green, and you could see my ball mark was right, well, sort of my ball mark right on the front of the cup. I just slam dunked right in. I get up there, it's in, and I'm just like, yeah. And I start screaming, and those guys start screaming. There's a video that Adam Wizard had taken, and you can see me. You can't hear me screaming, but I'm like, on the green, and those guys are screaming on the tee box. The people on the 9th tee realized what was going on, so they were all screaming. And so then I ran back to the tee box. And now I'm exhausted. That's like 400 yards of sprinting. And but anyways, we're hugging with the guys and high fiving, and so it was pretty cool. Then Kevin took a video of me walking back up and picking my ball up out of the hole, and Adam had phoned the clubhouse. A bottle of wine got delivered to the 9th tee box, and I don't drink on the golf course, but I drank on the golf course the rest of the day. As you said, I was 32 on the front 9, and the rest of the round didn't matter. I shot 39 in the back 9, 71. But who cares?
Who cares? The moment you get that hole in one, it's okay. But then what happened on hole 9?
Well, I absolutely smashed my drive down the middle of the fairway, and then Piercy says to me, did you just hit the ball that you got? I'm like, yeah. He says, get that ball out of play, man. And so I'm like, okay, I did. And then I almost holed my second shot on 9. And then it just rolled out a little bit, about 5-6 feet past. I missed the putt.
That's okay.
But it's okay. I got the hole in one.
I love that you just still you played the hole in one ball without even thinking.
I know. It's just you don't. I didn't think about it, and we give at the ranch a little fancy wood box that my dad actually makes with laser engraved the ranch hole in one on it, and so I got my ball sitting on my desk in the hole in one box. But that's my third one, but it's been 31 years. Since
Zach
I got
and Trev
my
weren't even alive.
They weren't even alive. Yeah.
I almost wasn't even alive at that time.
It's like, man, this hole in ones are special.
I got to show the picture of this because my one buddy, he loves the dunk shot.
Yeah.
And you basically had the dunk shot. And just look where his ball hits. Like, it is incredible. Let's see if we can get that.
Yeah. That is a direct shot.
Well, and it's so weird because we didn't hear anything. Like that's why there was a little confusion on whether it was in or not.
That was just for
think
those on
you
YouTube.
Would hear the pin, but I mean it was really windy, and so I think that's why we couldn't hear anything, and it just disappeared. It's like
it should have it had to have sucked. It didn't bounce or anything like that.
There was no bounce. It just disappeared, and I'm like, man, like that's like it's either in or I airmailed it and it's over the back of the green and it disappeared. But so that's where when someone said I don't know, I'm like, oh boy, I gotta go see this now.
TaylorMade TP5.
Yeah.
You can see that.
Good advertising for TaylorMade then.
There you go.
That's you can see. Yeah, you zoom in right, and there's the TaylorMade right there. And
Performance Center. Hello.
Yeah. So, anyways, lots of fun. Happy to do it with Kevin Carey and I've been playing Sunday golf every year for like 17 years now on Sundays, and to be able to do that with him, we've talked about it for years. Like one day, one of us has got to get a hole in one on the Sunday match, and so for it to happen.
Did you win the match yesterday?
I did. Yeah.
Okay. Because I was gonna say, like in the end, like I think that just should be an auto win. Like the round's over. Wow. You got the hole in one. It's over. You won.
He was on fire though yesterday early. Like he beat both. He plays matches against me, Sean, and Adam, and he beat both of those guys fairly handily. But I closed him out, I think, on 17. So it was it was a fun day. And like I said, I don't drink on the golf course, but
no, that's you're allowed to do that one. You could break your own rule for that one. You could do that one for that one. Just it's again 31 years.
Long time. been close a bazillion times. There's one time where I thought it was leaning in the hole on a Sunday match with Kevin, and we were playing with Danny Kepley. And like I hit the pin and sucked back, and I thought that it was leaning into the hole, and we were kind of like screaming, thinking that it was in. And we get up there, and just the angle we were at, it was like this far away from the hole, and it was like, oh man, because we were thinking it was in, and we were kind of screaming a little bit, and then drive up there, and it's like, oh, man.
Well, I'm very glad you didn't hit that hole in one on July 3rd at the Ranch Golf and Country Club, because
it's 100 G's.
That's the insurance covers that, but I wouldn't be eligible.
Yeah, that's true.
As a pro on all those hole-in-one prizes that are in tournaments and stuff like that, if I get one, I don't win. I don't win the prize. It's not,
really?
Yeah, pros aren't eligible.
Oh, because I have a couple of people for the EST class. They're like, who's in it? How many? Is there any pros? And I go, well, there's one executive pro and stuff. So then you're not eligible.
No, the insurance would be way more money if you have a pro. Like,
especially after what you just did yesterday.
Yeah,
well, to the insurance companies out there.
Yeah, well, I'm a witness there. I'm not participating. I'm going to be up at the green, verifying whether it's in, along with the video that you're going to be doing, having it live on YouTube.
And the glue guy will be there as well. There'll be a few of us as witnesses. But
excited about
you have a chance for $100,000 to Ranch Golf and Country Club. You just got to keep listening to EST. Listen for the keyword. We will do one later today in the Hangout, and then text it in, and you could be the name chosen. And then every morning on the morning show, we draw one of those names, and they will be the contestant on July 3rd at the Ranch Golf and Country Club, with a potential chance to swing for $100,000. If somebody does hold it, like Murray, contest is over.
Yeah,
that's why the contest would have been over there for you, Murray. Like if you were like the second one for us or something, it would have been done. It would have been over. No one would have gotten anything, or would have gotten a chance after that. You would have won the 100K. So,
well, you know what? We always harass you about your keywords. What was? And I saw yours for the
Poulter.
The sheet.
Poulter.
It was Poulter.
I had Neiman yesterday on the VIP golf show, and I'm like, no one even knows how to spell that, man.
I spelled out Poulter like 5
you
times.
You guys are the golfers. I'm expecting that the golfers will get the tougher name better.
Yeah, I look at the sheet and I'm like, are you kidding me, Iwanyk?
That's what I said
almost
too.
changed it to. I almost said, you know what? Screw what Iwanyk's put on there. Let's Woods.
Yeah,
Tiger Woods.
We've already done
so
that
many
one.
levels.
Yeah, you've got okay ones the rest of the way. They all they work in the categories. I had to use golfers, so I had already been through a few golfers. Today, if you knew, the Mizuno was the morning show keyword. Do not text Mizuno in right now. We have a different keyword to text in. So,
I saw the keyword on the pregame show come in during the pregame show from that morning the other day, and I was like, "What are you guys doing?"
Because it's probably the replay.
Oh, the replay.
We play the replays throughout
that's
the
right.
weekends or something. There's probably that one person who's listening and didn't realize, and
Yeah.
then just figured they'd text it in and
Whoopsies.
try to get in there. So,
And then also, Hello Hockey airs in Vancouver and Calgary, and they delayed it to like 4 o'clock in Vancouver the other day. So maybe that was it too.
oh yeah.
Could have been that. Interesting.
Well, Murray, congratulations. Seeing that tweet yesterday, I was like, all right,
Yeah,
Murray, he got
Very
it. So
fun.
it's
Very fun.
well done.
I hope I don't have to wait 31 years for another one.
No.
Did you buy around in the clubhouse? Or
Well,
what's the rule
yeah.
for you? I'm intrigued for what you think the rule is then.
Well, the rule is you buy around for everyone in the clubhouse. But, just as I was walking up, there was a whole herd of like 20 people that were leaving. I'm like, whew.
Oh, did you buy around though for everyone?
No, nobody in there because they left. And then we didn't stay very long afterwards. I had dinner reservations for Father's Day, and so everyone had to leave. But then the whole herd of people were leaving just when we were coming, and then a whole herd of people came just as we were leaving. So it was like, I got off the hook easy.
Nice.
See, I'll rant on that one. I think that is
I
a
know.
terrible tradition.
Yeah, it is.
If anything, you should be getting bought from others.
Yes.
Exactly.
But if you have to buy, it should only be for your group. Or anyone you like. If you came with a group of there's 2 groups that you're with, your group in that sense. I should not have to buy drinks for some foursome that I have no idea who they are.
Exactly.
They just randomly heard I hit a hole in one. They're sitting in the clubhouse waiting to get a drink on me.
Yeah.
I don't know you. I'm not buying you.
Yeah, I agree with you for sure. And the guy said to me right away, "Hey, listen, you're going to have to figure out a ride home tonight after golf." And I'm just like, I'm not that big a drinker, so no, I'm driving. I'm driving home. I'll be okay.
Yeah. Beef Nips has a question.
Jump in.
780-218-9999. Beef Nips wants to know, Murray, is the pond on 17 off limits? Not going to lie, I'm jumping straight in if I drain it for 100K.
Oh well, you know what? If I want 100K, I'd probably jump in the pond too. Yeah. So it's not off limits. You can go ahead.
I'll bring a rope.
There's nothing in there that's gonna give you some rashes or anything like that. You'll be all good.
I'll just bring a rope just in case. So if we could throw one in and like pull the person, and like they could grab it. And
I do know this is a lot of years ago, but somebody in a fit of anger, but I believe it was from 16. They threw their club after hitting a bad shot, and it ended up in the pond between 16 and 17 there. So later that night, I get someone send me a text from work saying, you know that there's somebody swimming in the pond on 16, and I'm like, yeah, I better go find out what's going on. And it was a guy threw his club in, so he came back later that night to try to find it.
just give up the club.
Yeah,
You lost it.
well,
You threw it in. Don't go swimming for it. Or if you just make the mention to you guys in the clubhouse that if anyone ever goes in there and gets the club, that's mine.
we do get divers come out every couple of years to dive in the ponds and get the ball. So, I don't know. Clubs are expensive now. If you had $1,000 set, I guess the first thing is clubs
Don't
are
throw it
expensive.
then.
Don't throw it.
Don't
I
throw
agree.
it.
Like just
You
don't
live
do
without
that.
it.
Murray, how do you guys get divers to go and get the balls? Do they last if they're in the water for a year?
Absolutely.
Wow. Okay.
But we don't sell used balls at the ranch, so it's actually people find this interesting sometimes. The diving companies, they pay us.
What?
Yeah.
Because then they'll sell the balls.
then they sell the
gotcha.
balls.
I buy
So-
those type of balls.
Yeah, so we get paid 10 cents a ball that they get.
Sure.
And like typically they come every other year between the pond on 18, pond on 1 and 10, and the pond on 16, 17. Guess how many balls every 2 years they pull out of those
It's got to be thousands.
Well, say
4,000.
I was gonna say probably like close to 15,000.
Yeah, 30-ish.
What?
Yeah. Well, if it's 2 years, there's a lot of.
Yeah.
So basically the floor of
I'm
all
a
those
good for
ponds,
1,000 of those.
I've seen you. I don't worry. I contribute too.
Yeah,
So
it's-
basically, the bottom of the ponds are essentially just all golf balls.
Well,
So there's 30,000 in there every couple of years.
So you think about that between those 3 ponds, we have let's call it 40,000 rounds a year.
Yeah.
So over 2 years, 80,000 rounds. That's almost one shot of every foursome. A little less than that goes in one of those 3 ponds.
Wow.
And that's not counting the balls that people pull out themselves, right?
I have a story that I'd like to share about that, but my dad he's a ball hunter.
Is he?
Yeah,
He has the long stick and goes in there and
He used
fishes?
to have one, yeah, and he put his ball into the water, or he happened to notice a nice ball just in the water. So he goes to his buddy Dave Martin. I think my uncle Diego was there, so that's why he loves telling the story. He goes, "Mr. Martin, my ball retriever, please." And he goes and he gets it, and he's fishing in there, and he's fighting his balls, giving him a hard time. And then finally he scoops it and he pulls it out. It was a used contraceptive.
Oh my gosh. That's not where I thought that story was going.
And they just started laughing at him. They're like, "You really wanted that ball, huh?"
He went all out for that one.
Oh my god.
Good job.
Mr. Martin, my ball retriever, please.
Oh my.
Yeah, no.
What
I have no idea what's going on out
There,
there.
Dusty and Eric are
Yeah, like
breaking
I'll
things.
buy some of those used balls. They can be. You could get they actually the ones that they sell are still in really good condition. That you could just sometimes get a good price for them and go for it. So
I always
one
worried
guy
that
got
they
mad
didn't
at me
last.
for mentioning where I buy them last time because
that's the
It was
secret.
the secret. He didn't want the
Yeah.
secret out there. So today I won't say where it is.
Where is
leave
it?
that.
No.
I'll tell you after.
All right, good. It's but yeah, they pay us 10 cents a ball they get, and I mean they sell them whatever, like 50 cents to $1
Well,
or
it's
whatever to other places,
so
and-
like it depends on the level where I go to buy them. If it's like the TP5s or the Pro V1s, I'm trying to remember. It's usually like, is it 24 for 24 or something like that, or is it a little bit higher than that?
It's $1 a ball.
It's right,
not
like
bad.
so like it's cheaper than the dozen for $80 or something.
Yeah.
If you go like the step lower of those balls with the TaylorMades and the Titleist, it's usually you get like 48 for $24 or something. It's like you get a fair amount. Like you're
Like
you're
a
paying
burner. Was it
a
the
little
burner?
better, like
It's
better than the
lower-
burners,
Okay.
and stuff. But like burners would be their Vice balls or something.
Yeah, yeah.
That's where Strixons and stuff.
Yeah.
You could find those 48 for $24. So it's a nice little gets me through a year basically.
you do realize that if you play with the exact same ball all the time, you'll play better because you actually know and what the ball is going to do when you hit it and how it's going to react.
Well, that's usually what. So that's where I like vices. You generally will golf a vice.
Okay.
And I like my vices and I go with that. I used to be Bridgestone E6s for the longest time.
I like those. I had those
but
for a
I
while.
do try to. I know I'm not good enough yet for. I shouldn't add yet. Probably will never be there. But the regularly golfing TP5s or Pro Vs.
But yeah, when you buy used balls, you're probably buying. There's some of this, some of that.
No,
some of this,
they're
some of that.
broken down to the same.
Oh,
you buy the same, like
okay.
it's so it's not you're just getting TaylorMades or whatever.
Oh, okay.
You're buying TaylorMade Pro V1s.
Oh, okay.
You're buying
mean
Vices.
Titleist
Pro V1. Sorry, TaylorMade TP5, TP5X is like separate. They're even separate.
Oh, okay, wow.
So they actually break it down so you buy the exact same ball in that.
Well, that's
jar.
good. I don't need to give you heck for
No.
I
wouldn't do it that way either. Like the only time I'm mixing is if I find a TP5 or a Pro V or something on the course, I'm putting that in the bag and I'm golfing it at some point.
Yeah. Okay.
But no, like it's the same ball.
Right. Okay.
Just different styles and all of that.
Mick from Beaumont texting in says, "Hey boys, I got a hole in one on men's night. Had to get tickets, and so people didn't go for more than one drink. The 11th hole at Colonial, 185 into the wind, and it cost him about $500.
That's not bad for men's night.
That's still like $500 is $500.
It's a lot,
But
but
if there's 100 guys in there, 100 guys should have bought him a drink, and he had to get, loaded into an Uber
And an ambulance.
yeah, exactly. Like that's the way it should be. He shouldn't have been on the hook for.
you wouldn't
$500.
see me in a clubhouse if I got it.
If it was full. Like, can you imagine if you get a hole in one in a big tournament and you, like 144 person tournament, and you go in and it's like you're expected to buy 144 drinks, man?
I will throw this out
Yikes.
there. If anyone hits a hole in one at the EST Golf Classic, you are not expected to buy anyone a drink. I will defend you on that one. I will you just your group if you want.
Yeah.
But if anyone comes up to you and says I get a drink, I will.
No.
I will not allow that to happen.
Troy
I
had
will
one
fight
at
for
our
that
1260 tournament.
Yeah, he won a bunch of bug spray.
He won bug spray.
Oh my gosh.
No
He still
car.
has a bunch of them. He liked the bug spray too, though.
Yeah, but
it was the one hole we didn't have a
vehicle
cash prize
bug
or something
spray.
like that.
Yeah.
So that year.
And that one lady that was there with the jungle juice, she's like, take whatever bug spray you want. And she's wearing like short shorts and a
At
bikini.
the end of the night.
I think she was enjoying some wine on the course that day.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Well, that reminds me of a time when I was a GM of the Bison Junior Hockey Club. We were in Drumheller.
8-time champs.
8-time champs. You better believe it, baby. We had those shootouts at the period. Okay.
Yeah.
If there's a big hole, you're thinking that the prize isn't going to be very big, but when the hole is like a barely bigger than the puck, you think it's a big prize. So I get drawn. My ticket gets drawn to do it, but I'm in the dressing room the whole time in between periods. I don't hear any announcements about the contest or what it is or anything like that. And I get out there, it's a tiny hole, and the ice had just been flooded, and it was really wet. And anyways, I shoot the puck down, and I make it. But because the hole is so, I'm thinking I just won a car, I won 20,000 bucks.
Right.
I think I get this big prize. So I start running down the ice and slide on my butt on the crazy wet ice, and I'm like swimming, like canoeing with the hockey stick. Like I'm thinking this is huge. I just won a massive prize.
You get a burger?
It was Shoot for a Year of Cheer, sponsored by McDonald's, a Big Mac meal a week for a year in a Drumheller only.
Oh,
I'm like, my pants are soaked,
worth it.
and I wouldn't eat a Big Mac ever in my
Yeah.
life. So I'm like, oh my God, this is embarrassing.
But you did it.
I did it, yeah.
He still got it done. That's what you could say.
He did it.
This is the EST Angle presented by Two Hoots, Matt Iwanyk, Tom Gazzola, Murray McCourt, the hole-in-one man with us here. We will get to our hole-in-one contest presented by Golf Town Keyword in a bit. Let's get to Hangout Headlines, which is brought to you by the Ranch Golf and Country Club. Premier conditions, top-notch service, unmatched value. The place you want to golf is the Ranch this year. If you want a hole-in-one, you want to do it at the Ranch. Even just saying that, I got a hole-in-one at the Ranch.
Yeah.
That just adds a little extra to it as well. Book your tee time, theranchgolf.com. Before we get to the other headline that we need to get to, which is the Oilers, I do want to quickly throw out there Alphonso Davies. He's been named captain for Canada at the Copa America. Stefan Eustachio will serve as vice captain. It begins Thursday against Argentina. Atiba Hutchinson, longtime captain of Canada. He's no longer with the team. He's retired, so they needed a new captain. And the Edmontonian, Alphonso Davies, is now the captain. Oilers, they force a game 5, and Emerville in the nasty check. I can't wait until tomorrow. The vibe of nothing to lose attitude along with historical events. This Oilers group is the first to overcome the deficit since the 1942 series. People are very confident after that Saturday game.
You're not, Tommy?
That was a solid performance.
I'm impressed, yeah. Like, I was very impressed. That was a solid performance and very thorough beatdown of the Florida Panthers. And the vibes were excellent all night long after that win, which was great. Had so much fun. Met and saw so many people. But like one at a time. And I don't think the Panthers are broken. And I don't think that they're going to crumble. Yeah. But I'm not saying Edmonton can't force a game 6. And I think, Shoggy was talking about it a little bit on the mandate this morning. There are some guys who probably on the Oilers feel good about what they did the other night, and they know that they can beat the Panthers. They finally beat the Panthers this year. I think it's a good step in the right direction, but like compare them to the 42 Leafs, I'm not there yet myself.
Yeah, so it's winning that 4th game is the hardest one to win.
Yeah,
and I find it fascinating how the NBA final and the NHL final are just mirror images of each other right now. But man,
right down to the blowout.
Yeah,
right down to the team down 3-0 blowing out the other team.
Yeah, but I agree. I don't think Florida's broken. I mean, you look at that game. I mean, I was there. That building was just electric. Yep. It was awesome. So fun. But you look at the beginning on the power play. Back-to-back posts, 10 seconds apart. Oilers go down and score.
Yep.
If one of those goals don't go in, and they didn't. I mean, but if one did, the building is deflated. The Oilers are deflated. Yep. Here we go again, and it could have been a very different game. And then 2-1 for the Oilers, and Skinner makes an unbelievable save on Verhaeghe.
He was unbelievable.
Those two moments were game-defining, and you just knew it was the Oilers' night. And boy, was that fun. Yep. That was so fun. And are they going to do it again? Man, I'd like to think so. But
you have to take it a game at a time. And it's that full cliche. We joked about it on the Oil Stream on Friday when Luke Gazda came on. And what did they have to do? He then threw it out there. You just got to take it a game at a time. You focus 100%. One at a time. So their first focus, whatever motivated them for game 4, it worked. Now you find that next motivation for game 5. And I think they kind of we've got to drag Florida back to Edmonton, make them have to take that flight. Like that. That's a good way to go with the motivation. But I'm with you, Tommy. I don't think you could look at the Florida Panthers being broken.
No.
There's a point, and they didn't try to lose that hockey game.
No,
no team ever tries to, I want to win on home ice. We're not. No team. They flew their families here. Yeah. They were ready to win if they were going to win.
We got an email with the cup procedures and all that, like what's going to happen.
I walked by Phil Pritchard, and it was behind the curtain. The cup was in the box. It wasn't getting taken out, but it was there. But once it was like 4-1.
Yeah.
I'm sure the Panthers in their mind were like, hey, let's try to beat up the Oilers a little bit. We saw Tkachuk with his 3 punches to McDavid. But, okay, let's focus on game 5. Let's go try to win it at home now. But that's I could see that where they foot off the pedal a bit during that game when they realized, okay, maybe this isn't our night.
Yeah,
that's okay.
Yeah,
we were going to probably lose a game at some point, so let's try this now in game 5.
And they've watched that game. They're focused and ready to play the way they did in the first 3 games. And boy, it's gonna. I think it's gonna be a barn burner of a game. Who's gonna win? I don't know.
Flip a coin, man.
Flip a coin, yeah.
I think for the Oilers, what helps them though is that game wasn't a McDavid took over the game. It was a team game,
yeah,
right?
It was a team game. He did have 4 points. But.
He did, but it's like you could almost put those aside there and be like, look at what everyone else was kind of doing in the bottom 6 and stuff. Like
Brown and Janmark special.
Absolutely,
that was unbelievable.
Yeah,
and that one could give you confidence that it wasn't just your stars dragging the entire team along. It was the whole team that showed up. Skinner was absolutely unbelievable. Yeah. And through 4 games, if you go by the metrics or the deserve to win meter and all that, the Oilers should be up 3-1. So I think if you just go play your game, you're feeling good that, okay, you could go still win these hockey games because it's not like when you were down 3-0 in this series, you were outplayed through 3 games. You were right there.
Momentum is a powerful, powerful tool, and the Oilers got a lot of it in that game, and their confidence is certainly rising with that. And boy, you never know. You never know. They could do it. They really could. I'm not going to hold my breath, but it's just like so exciting though. Like just being in that rink and feeling the energy and excitement. Like
That was great.
it was so incredible, and to get. There's going to be at least one more game that we're all going to be on the edge of our seats and getting to enjoy it. And, it brought back memory. Like everyone knows I'm a big diehard Blackhawk fan. And I just remember I texted my wife from the game and it's like, man, like I'm just feeling this energy for the Oilers and I'm cheering my brains out for the Oilers. And it just brings me back to like when my Hawks had their 3-6.
Right.
And it's special. It's special times to be here and enjoy it and live these experiences. And, you look at teams like Toronto and teams that have not, been able to be successful and be in these moments.
Right.
Like, enjoy this, everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, your team is in the Stanley Cup final. It is special. It is really special.
A lot of people were enjoying it.
Yeah, they were on Saturday.
Yeah.
I was
night.
trying to get
Absolutely.
some sleep. Like my voice was pretty much gone. I couldn't talk to Tommy at the game.
Yeah. Yeah, you could.
Anytime I tried talking to Tommy, like
was like,
nothing was
what?
coming out, and I was like, damn. I know what it's like to hear it on the other end. And you just feel like, so I felt bad for Tommy having to try to listen to me talk to him.
No,
So I
it's
needed to go
funny.
get some sleep to just like get the voice rested up, and it's just horns, just noise, and I'm like, that's awesome. Like it's
It
great.
is,
Like,
yeah.
keep having fun.
Yeah.
I'll find a way to get to sleep somehow, but go enjoy yourselves, Edmonton.
Yeah,
was great.
absolutely.
I was gonna add something. There's some updates from Panthers practice already. You guys want
Ooh,
them?
let's hear
Blowing it up. They're scared.
No, but
Anthony Stollart's taking over.
one-time Edmonton Oiler Anthony Stolarz. Dan Rosen put it out there. Aaron Ekblad not skating. Matthew Tkachuk, Sam Bennett not practicing either.
It's just rest.
Yeah, I guess that would be it.
I don't think that's probably the Evander Kane thing that we had all playoffs, which was just rest up, get ready for game 5. What are you really gaining in practice? What are you really learning in practices these days?
They're not. It's just getting your feet moving kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, flow stuff.
Being around the guys and just I mean it's just they're in the Stanley Cup too. This is an enjoyable time for them and just
Well, and it's also just a long run for everyone. For both the two teams left in it, it's a lot of hockey you've gone through. Except what got me, and I understand why this is the case, but Chris Knobloch said something about the next 10 days. And all I can think of, there's only 3 games. And it's going to take 10 days if it goes all the way.
know.
Like, that is ridiculous. And the NBA, the exact same thing. Just like, if this goes, it's going to be only 3 games over 10 days. Well, and again, I totally get it. Like, they had to plan it out because of the NBA schedule, ABC with ESPN, all of that. But, man, 3 games in 10 days.
the anxiety and the hype and everything that everyone's feeling in the city that
Yep.
the players are feeling. I mean, it's crazy. It's the intensity of all this is really crazy.
The funny part of like this, how spread it out it is like the logistics of it too. You got people traveling back and forth. I was talking to Chris Johnston, and I'm like, CJ, what are you doing? He's like, well, I've got 4 suits. I've got a bunch of stuff. I'm on the cusp of needing to do laundry. Because he's like, I packed enough. He's like, if the series does come back to Edmonton, he might stop in Toronto, reload his clothes, and then come to Edmonton. And he's like, and then I have to go right to Vegas
For the draft.
for the draft and the awards.
We should have went around offering people the laundry service. I would have happily been like, hey, come on over. Use some laundry. I'll do it for you if you need.
Wow, yeah.
No thanks.
Well,
I'll help the boys out.
and how crazy is that too? Like the Stanley Cup is going to end, and for these two teams, it's like literally going from the heat of playing for the Stanley Cup championship, and then like boom, you got to be focused on the draft, and free agency starts July 1. Like it is a crazy turnaround, and these guys that are going to war with each other every day, some of them aren't going to be teammates like 3 days later.
Yeah, it's crazy because there'll be free agency, all that. With hockey ops, because they are preparing for the draft.
Yeah.
You can't put that on hold.
Yeah, like they're not very chatty right now. A, because of the stress of the Stanley Cup final, and B, they're preparing for the draft. So you see them huddled up, and they're always talking with one another. Usually, you can go and shoot the breeze with them, and now it's just like, hey. Like I saw Keith Gretzky, and usually him and I have a long conversation, and he's like on his way to a little conversation meeting with the other hockey ops guys, and I was just like, nice suit. He's like, thanks, you too. That was our conversation. That was it. Usually it's like couple minutes catching up. What are you going to do? Are you going to be here? Are you going to be here? See you there? Nope. Yep. But it was just like, nice suit. Bye. Boom. And they just talk to each other, and that's it.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
they've got
there's a lot
so
going
much
on,
going
yeah.
on. Yeah.
There's also after game 3, there's only one media elevator up and down.
Yeah.
And I came out and it was jam-packed, like a lineup of people. But also waiting at the very front was Jeff Jackson, Ken Holland, all these people. Elevator comes up, door opens. A bunch of people are about to try to rush in. Jeff Jackson had to be like, guys, can like Ken Holland and the boys get down first? And me and this one guy are like, why? Like, did no one figure that out? Like, the Oilers have to, their management team needs to get downstairs quicker than the media, you know? Like, and it was up to Jeff Jackson to like tell everyone to stop and get the Oilers management team in first and let them go down. But it was just funny how like all this media were trying to like get around the Oilers into this elevator as if they're more important. It's like, hey, good job, guys.
They want snacks in the media lounge.
The quotes can wait a little bit. The podium will be there. Like, this
No
is their
one's going
rink.
anywhere.
This is their their team just, lost. They're worried about things. They should add 2 elevators in the end, maybe. Didn't think about that in the end.
Is one on the other side, but it goes to the other end of the rink. It's nowhere near where you need to be. I believe it is. There's another one there.
Yeah, I was like, it took a few rides before I could get on and stuff. So, but yeah, it's like it was just funny watching people get in and try to get in front of the Oilers management team. And
There's stairs. Everyone could the media.
but then
could take
all
stairs, too.
but the only and I would usually take the stairs in those cases. But then all the fans are leaving too at the same time, so they're all in the stairs. So the stairwell is going to be completely.
They
jammed,
ripped
too.
darts in the stairwell, and then somebody was smoking a joint in the stairwell last week.
That one stairwell usually smells like that.
Yeah.
You think we see Evander Kane anymore?
I don't think so.
I don't know. Like, boy, was he?
I don't think he'll
needed
get healthy enough. Like, there's no way he could get healthy enough that he'd be useful anymore now.
A healthy Kane in that last game when McDavid's taken 3 or 4 punches in the face. That would have been nice for Kane a healthy Kane to be on the ice in that moment.
True.
But who I think it was Fogle or something was on the ice at that time. Jumped right in and like there was
absolutely.
They got in there.
There was a big like when you go to the Boston Canucks 2011 or whatever it was, where Marchand was just punching Sedin in the face. There was no response.
Yeah.
The Oilers, there was a full response there.
Yeah.
So like I was actually that was really impressive to see that the Oilers
Bouchard
just
was in there.
Bouchard was in there.
Bouchard
McDavid was going at it too, pretty good in there.
Yeah.
And there was a lot happening, and that was a nice little response. Like, that's the Panthers just trying to get under, and Kachuk trying to get under the Oilers' skin to mess things for Game 5.
Yeah.
And the Oilers jumped fully in there. So
Where has Kachuk been this series? Like,
I don't know. He's just quiet.
Yeah, like unbelievable.
Yeah.
Really. And sure, on the Oilers side before this game, McDavid, all the top two lines hadn't
Hyman
scored a
wasn't-
goal,
yeah.
but hey, Kachuk too. He's has barely been visible outside of a few feisty moments, but nothing. Yeah, he doesn't do anything. He hasn't done anything. I mean, he's obviously a great player, and just not getting it done.
Very true. Reinhardt's been all right. Rodriguez has been good. Barkov is Barkov. I mean,
Yeah, their D zone coverage, every team should just get video of what Florida does in the Z zone, and this is what we got to do, guys. Because McDavid will turn, stop and start and turn around, and another guy just rotates and he's there. It's absolutely phenomenal to watch. I mean, I'd rather them not be that good at it, so the Oilers could score some more goals and be winning more of these games. But it is like that's a good hockey team.
yeah, it is. Hell yeah, it is.
this comes into the Paris Jewelers inbox 780-218-9999. Ben and Kachuk haven't missed practice all playoffs. Something is definitely up. That's what they're thinking. Fellas, what is the Oilers hierarchy with this upcoming draft? It's really weird not having a GM when draft will be less than a week away once the season is over.
It'll be Ken Holland running the draft. They've been preparing it with Ken Holland to run the draft. That's what's going to happen. I've asked about that, and it'll be Ken Holland's draft. That's it.
Is there any chance, especially getting to the Stanley Cup right now, that they just run back Ken Holland for one more year?
No.
I have said that all season.
Yeah.
I've thrown that out there, and he always shoots it down right away.
Everybody's saying no.
And he was applying for other jobs and interviewing for other jobs during these playoffs. So you got to think that you're right, that he knows he's not going to be the GM of the Edmonton Oilers at all next year.
This
Otherwise,
year?
he wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, this year, Murray, like, usually he's around, but, like, he's very chatty, and you see him. You didn't see him as much and kind of, like, more in the background and not as out there and out front. And I think that's part of it because he's a pretty easy guy, accessible and easy to talk to.
Okay, so Holland is, if you're right, and he runs the draft, then a week later is free agency. Though a new GM,
Well, not even.
yeah, but a new GM is going to be like, well, wait a minute, I
don't know
need
if they
this.
necessarily will have a new GM by then.
But,
See, and that's
interesting.
That is a weird part.
Yeah.
Because,
So who's building the team then?
well, yeah, so then it'd be Jeff Jackson.
And Paul Coffey.
But then it's like, okay, well, who is the GM comes in? It's not his team.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
has to do with what. So why not? Maybe it is going to be Jeff Jackson.
It's such an awkward.
Or maybe Paul Coffey will be the GM.
Maybe. I don't think he's going to. My hunch is he's not behind the bench next year.
Yeah, I don't think so. Either.
Why? Based on the way he talked too, when he was being hired, it was one and done type thing.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
He
Or
was not
like
look-
maybe that is an in-house person.
Well, and if
Maybe it is a Keith Gretzky that just is going to get
I think
elevated.
Keith would be interested.
Want it to be like, but
deservedly
more.
so.
Jeff kind of dictates how he wants things to go.
Mm-hmm.
Keith goes and does it. It's like Joe Sakic isn't the GM in Colorado,
Right.
But we always talk about Joe Sakic and him building the team and all of that. Maybe that's the way they're going to go with this. Is that Jeff Jackson has his vision for this team, and the GM is the one that has to go execute it. Though.
Look at Vancouver with Jim Rutherford
Yeah.
and Patrick Alvin. And then I think it's Cami Granato and I can't remember her other name, but there's like 3 or 4 assistant GMs that
Split
also
up a lot of duties.
yeah. And the Oilers have a couple of assistant GMs, like Bill Scott still one, Keith Gretzky still one. So yeah, the front office, like the model, it feels like, and it has been modified and evolving the last few years. Like it's
Well,
more
'cause
hands
the
on
Poho
deck.
came on.
Poho,
We started adding those titles,
yeah.
and that person assumed more responsibility. And it was a way to keep good people and but keep them as GMs. But really, it's coming from the presidents.
Yeah.
It's gone to basketball a bit. Masai Ujiri with the Raptors. Was it Bobby Webster's the GM? But we always want to hear from Masai.
Yeah.
And what's Masai doing with this team?
Yeah.
So like the GM isn't as almost powerful as it once was.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Even,
Team to team. Team to team.
100%. Mark Shapiro with the Blue Jays and Ross
Right.
Atkins, like even there, Mark Shapiro's brought in, but Ross Atkins is the GM.
Yeah.
And it's that group that now you're building as opposed to the individual.
Yeah. When you go back to coffee and coaching staff, you got to think that Knobloch is going to be able to bring in his guy. Yeah, like
His bench, yeah.
Yeah.
It's if he's going to be the head coach, he should be able to have his own, hand-picked guys to work with instead of guys that are here. You're the head coach of the Oilers, but Paul Coffey's your assistant coach here, and you're keeping Gulletson and whatnot. And
They need to keep Gulletson.
Yeah,
He's
I
Connor
would-
and Leon's guy.
and I
The
would
players love
agree.
him.
They love him, yeah.
But
And I wouldn't want to
He's a
change. If
great
I'm
guy,
Chris
too.
Knobloch, I wouldn't want to change much right now because it's going well.
No,
But
yeah. but
probably
you-
would want to bring one person on at least. That's
exactly, for sure. But I mean, Coffey is probably not going to be on the bench.
I don't think so.
And Knobloch will get his guy in that position.
He kind of gave more power to Mark Stewart. Mark Stewart's really run with it. I think he gave him a bit of not a shout out, but he made a point of saying it the other day. I think he was talking to Mark Stewart. And Mark Stewart's been great.
He could be the D coach.
He's been unheralded for like a lot of the attention has gone to Paul Coffey. And listen, the guy's a legend, one of the greatest defensemen of all time. Obviously, an Oilers legend. And there's certain things that when he says it, you're like, okay, you're right, I'll do that. And I'm sure he's had that impact. But like the technical side, Mark Stewart has been excellent. He's the PK guy. He's the one that really helped on the back end to galvanize this team. So
And how about the PK?
PK has been excellent.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Tube Sock says he's interested in the Nasty Chat and that he does have a plan. So
In the Oilers GM position?
just throwing that one out there.
All
Tube
right,
Socks is also
Tube Socks is
interested.
interested.
I just want
Steven,
he
you,
did a
get
great
that
job
resume in there.
with what he did with our logos.
He did a
I think
fantastic
that's enough that I would trust him. to
I
be
would
the general
trust him.
manager.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tube Socks will throw your resume towards Jeff Jackson and get you in that spot.
And you
there.
want Mr. Tube Socks, Sir Tube Socks, Tube Socks, 2 words, 1 word, you tell us. We'll get that name plate done for you.
This is the EST Hangout presented by Two Hoots, Matt Iwanyk, Murray McCourt, Tom Gazzola with you here. Let's do it now. Let's get to the $100,000 hole-in-one contest, which is presented by Golf Town. Right now, save up to 40% on top brand golf shoes. It's the summer savings. They've also got a bunch of great golf deals online. You just have to go to golftown.com. Buy one, get one free. Srixon inline golf balls. Save $60 on Nike spikeless shoes. The Ping G4225 driver. You can save $120. Golftown, check them out in-store or online, golftown.com. One of my favorite places to go to just wander and stare.
It's like
and
it's like a playground almost.
it's the male adult. It's not Home Depot. It's the opposite of it's like Home Depot's there too for guys or whatever. But this is for the golf one where it's just spend time.
All the toys are there.
If you're all going with your partner or something, walking the strip mall or whatever, like you could just leave your husband there if you're the wife or whatever, and you'll know he's taken care of because he'll be there for a long time, and you could go do whatever you need to do and
Babe,
then come
I need
back
to test
and
some irons.
Yeah.
go practice some putting.
Yeah, the putting is my favorite. I like to look at all the new putting or putter designs, and I'm like, it's just so tempting, and I have to tell myself, don't putt, just leave it, stop it.
At Golftown, I putted on the West End one in the store here. Anyways, I've been there a few times, and I think that they have that putting mat design that everything goes in the freaking hole. So you get this putter out, and you're like, oh, I can't miss with this. I got to buy this because it's like filters into the hole.
$350 later. Damn it.
It's like those mirrors at the stores for clothes that make it look like it looks good on you or whatever. But I've never thought of that, but I'm sure there's something to that.
Yeah, because I'm like, and then you get buy the putter. It's like, get out there. I can't make anything. Like,
what the hell?
That's just, I think they do because I make a lot of putts on that putting green. It's like, this is not real.
Because that's just smart on their part.
Absolutely.
The keyword to text to 780-218-9999. It's Cobra. Cobra to 780-218-9999. C-O-B-R-A. Cobra, 780-218-9999. You'll go into a draw to be the qualifier from the Hangout today. If you are that qualifier, you'll be a draw tomorrow morning on the morning show. We'll pick one person from today. That person will then be our next contestant that will be in the $100,000 hole-in-one contest, July 3rd at the Ranch Golf and Country Club, 17th hole, 180 yards out. This is the $100,000 hole-in-one presented by Golftown.
I have a hole-in-one story sent in by Jason in Leduc, and he sent a picture as well. A nice little plaque with the ball in it and the scorecard and his name and what hole. Okay, Jason says, I got a hole-in-one, and it didn't cost me anything because it's on a course without a clubhouse. Bent stick in New Sarepta. Hole 9, 202 yards, green elevated from the tee box about 20 feet, I'm guessing. It was on Father's Day, June 17th, 2012. Dad was pissed. He's 70 plus and has never hit a hole in one.
Oh.
Jason's got one.
Elevated like that, he probably didn't see it go in.
Yeah.
He should get up to the hole. It's like, oh, where's my ball? Oh, it's in the hole.
Drained it.
Yeah, that's fun.
My dad's got one. He's got a hole in one. And oddly enough, he just bought Cobra irons last year or a year and a half ago. Yeah. It was funny.
I've heard good things about Cobras.
And he went and he hit at Golftown. We saw Murray B at Golftown, and he helped my dad pick out some irons. And so we were playing sim golf, not last winter, but 2 winters ago. And my dad bought them during a sale, I think around winter. And so we had our Sunday round of sim golf. My dad, my brother, my uncle, and I. And we're expecting my dad to be hitting his new irons just to get used to them. And he brings his old set, and we're like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I didn't want to take the plastic wrapper off. I want to use them on the golf course." I'm like, "This is what you're supposed to do." And we chastised him, and I think the next time he was actually using them. But he's like, "No, they're brand new. I'll wait." I'm like, "No, you take them out. Let's go hit those things."
I guess.
Yeah.
Get it off the wrappers.
Right.
Papa G. I saw him at one of the Elks games. Maybe not the Friday night one, but the one before.
Yeah.
I saw him there. Yeah.
Directors Club.
Directors Club.
Yeah, I sent him in there.
We'll get to Elks right away here. Just a reminder, tomorrow we got the G-Sail Diesel Oil Stream pregame show, 4:30 right here on the station. Then Wednesday night, fun little event taking place at the Bell in Scona. It's with Edmonton Sports Talk in support of Kids Sport. Bids for kids, 5:30 to 8:30. Dusty, Belsey, Georges Leroc will be there. We'll do a live EST special show around 6:30 or something like that. That will take place right there at the Bell in Scona, all for a good cause, again, with Kids Sport. 90s themed night as well, so go get your tickets. A lot of great prizes. The door prize is a Alberta Mountain Getaway in Jasper. Some of the silent auction items does include a round of golf with Craig McTavish, which I think would just be absolutely fantastic.
Yes.
Kids Sport, bidsforkids.com. elks.com for more information on that event on Wednesday night.
Somebody texted in cornea. It's cobra.
Cobra.
Not cornea.
Cobra.
Close.
Close.
Spell check.
Mop number 37. Cornea.
Oh, Mop. Mop's great, dude.
Yeah.
He'll be at our golf tournament.
Nice.
A couple texts that I want to get to, then we'll get to the Elks.
Okay.
I got a hole-in-one in a company tournament, and they didn't have a hole-in-one prize, but they had a wheel you had to spin for what club to hit, and the hole is 148 yards. I spun 3-wood on the wheel, took about a half swing, and holed it.
Damn.
Big Uke says, closest I've been was about 8 inches at an executive course in Phoenix. Still waiting to see one in person. My dad got one a few years back at Long Lake, but I wasn't there. I had to work. Stupid job. Haha. I don't know how I would react to seeing someone hit a hole-in-one.
I think I'd be almost as excited. Like if I was with you, I'd be very, very excited.
I would
for
be
you.
in so much shock that I don't think I would say anything. I just would be so like stunned.
Yeah, everyone's reaction is different for sure. But it depends too. Like that texter that texted in with the elevated green. I mean, you wouldn't have seen it. Like
Right.
one of mine. Both of my other ones, I didn't know they went in. Get up on the green, and you're like, where the heck's my ball? Oh, it's in the hole. Yeah, like it's a lot funner when you see it and like say you hit it and it's rolling, it's going in the hole, and like all of a sudden it drops like yeah, and then you see it and you know it from the tee. And that was with mine, like there was a little uncertainty. That's why I sprinted up to the green.
Yeah.
Just I needed to know if it was in. Or
But
not.
always check the hole. I will say that if you're on a par 3, can't see your ball. I remember reading a story on Reddit once where this guy hit it, they couldn't find it. So he went behind the green and all of a sudden yelled, "Oh, I found my ball." So they went, but the ball was in the hole. So when they went to the hole after, they actually saw the ball. So not only did he miss out on the hole in one, he was a liar in the end.
Oh boy.
So he
that's not
like
good.
it was just like that's always check the hole.
Damn.
And also don't cheat.
Yeah.
Don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy.
Just take your lumps.
It's fun seeing like hole in one. Obviously, that's the ultimate. But like even like a chip in out of the bunker, you like
Those are fun.
or like someone holes out from the fairway, and I get like super excited. It just there's like a rush that comes over. My dad drained an eagle on a par 5 a couple of years ago, and I was pumped for him. I was like, "You son of a like you chucked the dart and it went in." And he's like, Sometimes I'm pretty good. I was like, "You liar."
Rymai's cousin Mike, he dunked one from like 70 yards out. And we were all so excited about
That's
that
so
one because it was
cool.
just like, and it didn't go anywhere. And it was during COVID with like those things in it, so it could easily bounce out or something. But no, he dunked it and it went like pushed this stuff all down, and it was great.
There was a guy, the video resurfaced recently, and it was how much he loved COVID golf, especially with the little rubber around the. He's like birdie, and he's just smacking it. He's just
Hitting as hard as possible, but hitting the pin.
and it's hitting it, and it's just like bouncing
COVID
up.
hole.
Just counts.
He's like
I'm in.
birdie.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah,
I loved
best
it.
round of his life.
I love the no bunkers. If there's no rake, it's I can't
Yeah,
play in the
take it
bunker
out.
today. I'm taking this out.
Yeah.
COVID.
Dumb.
Oh,
It was
COVID.
awesome.
You know, if it's some of that stuff like the pool noodles that we all had
Yeah.
in the cups, like come on. If there's ever something like that again,
It'll be
like
100 years from now.
Yeah,
That's
so
the
they'll
story.
forget everything, and
Yeah.
and golf will have pool noodles.
Golf
again.
will be fully elevated
yeah.
or something.
Exactly.
You were at the Elks game. I was at Central Casino Sports Bar and Lounge watching the Elks game. You were at the Elks game. This team, if there's one, like they always say, we got it on the post game show. Like teams, there's those teams that know how to win. The Elks are a team that know how to lose.
Yeah,
They know how to find a way to just get that loss.
They were pissed.
they elked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's becoming the word that you
Exactly.
could just start using with this.
How do you guys look at it? Because they like Montreal's won 10 straight games going back to last year, Grey Cup, all that stuff. They're buzzing, man. Talking to those players, like we just continue on. We're family. We know what we need. We're starting the year already. We're up here. Like they are setting the bar. Obviously, the Alouettes are. If you're looking at it from an Elks point of view, are you looking at it like, all right, this team just isn't good, and just knows how to find ways to lose, like Maddie was bringing up, or was it, hey, give some credit to the Alouettes because they're a damn good team and they didn't dig themselves out of a hole, but they found a way to gut one out, right? So is there positives in what the Elks were able to accomplish, go toe-to-toe with the Alouettes, or is it still like no moral victories at this point? It's only 2 games in. Like Jones and McLeod Bethel Thompson, when I kind of asked them about that, they're like, nah, man, like they're still pissed off. And I understand that, but Montreal's such a good team.
Yeah. The guys in my suite asked me, what do you think the score is going to be tonight? I predicted 42-10 for Montreal. So 23-20. I hear what you're saying. I mean, they went toe-to-toe with the Grey Cup champions who arguably look like they might be the favorite to win it again this year. And so, I think you're seeing some improvement. And, we were talking earlier, you were saying, like, boy, if Elks lose one more, maybe you got to look at making a coaching change. I don't know, man. They're showing some improvement. They're showing some game. Let's see what happens when, let this ride itself out a little bit more before you need to make some crazy decisions like that. But I don't know. It's tough. It's just, as fans, it's just tough to keep seeing this carry on and carry on and carry on and not getting the wins when they're right there. Like some of these coin flips, you just got to win some of them.
I know,
but they don't.
But the thing is that they given up these where they're like, it's not doesn't get easier. Toronto and BC aren't easy. They're coming up. Like, is it you've stumbled where these are the games you need to win? Maybe as I look at this game. So there's a couple of errors that cost them completely.
Right.
The Dylan Mitchell drop touchdown. That was a touchdown. And he completely dropped that ball.
There. That was right in front of me, and I was like, he's got this. Nope.
That's a big mistake. McLeod Bethel-Thompson wasn't good enough. His interceptions weren't good.
No.
I don't understand the going for 3rd and 2.
That one
from
was,
right there.
Yeah.
And even as the play was about to start, I said to Jay, he's going to run to his left, and he ran to his left and got stuffed. It wasn't even close. They didn't take a lot of penalties. I think they were only credited with 4 penalties. Yeah. But they took 2 big penalties of those 4. Yep. One being they had their own 3rd down stop, took a penalty. And then there was, where was it? I think after the interception, they took a penalty, which allowed Montreal to be closer. But then the flip to that is defense, I think, played really well outside of that opening drive touchdown that they allowed.
Yep.
They held things together for the most part. I know Walter Fletcher had, a couple of really nice runs.
He did.
But if you're telling me my defense is only giving up 23 points, I'm taking that as a coach. Like you're thrilled with that.
Especially Montreal.
That onside kick was unbelievable.
That was
from
neat.
Boris Beatty.
The way he did that.
Pure needed to drop. I don't know why he didn't drop for that ball.
Yeah.
And then the other mistake I'll actually quickly point to is on the missed field goal from David
Bringing
Cody.
it out.
I don't have an issue with bringing it out. Why is Javon Leake not back there? Why is Lucius Purifoy running back there, noticing that there's no one back there? What happened, and why is Javon Leake not back there? Because you brought him in for a reason.
Yeah, we went. I actually went and checked in to see if Leake was banged up, and then I was told no. And I was watching him; he was just on the sidelines, and then they said that they used Purifoy for some of that, and I was like, okay.
You brought Leake in for a reason. If somebody's bringing that out, it's Javon Leake.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that could be a touchdown. Like straight, and that's not just with Javon Leake. That could easily be a touchdown. So when I saw Purifoy running back there, and then him returning, he was like, "Where the hell's Leake?
Yeah.
Why is Leake not doing this?
Exactly.
Did he not run out there? Is this a coaching decision? Whatever it is, that's a mistake. Because if someone's going to run it out, it needs to be Javon Leake. Yeah. I wouldn't have an issue if it was him running it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, bad, terrible field position, and
they got to the 8, I think it was.
Oh yeah.
But we're like,
so
there are no moral victories to me with this team because Chris Jones came into this season and he said, "It's win now season." And if you wanted moral victories, you needed to go with the season with Trey Ford because you could have went to your fans saying, "We're trying to develop this young quarterback." Right, this is my point of where Trey Ford was, where I've been on since February, is that you could sell that to your fan base. And I think fans are smart enough in the city to understand that if Trey Ford was a starting quarterback and you lost these 2 games, you dropped a 1-2 like this, people would sit there, you're developing this young quarterback that we all want to see. But when you bring in McLeod Bethel-Thompson, you're telling the fan base, you're telling me, you're telling all the media, no, we're winning this season. And yet you still drop these 2 games. So like you can't, to me, as a Chris Jones, you can't be like, well, we're getting better. You can't sit there and go, well, these were tough teams. No, you told me you're going to win. So why aren't you winning football games? 2-18 at home. This second stint for Chris Jones here with Edmonton. You got to get going here.
You look at a 38-year-old quarterback making those mistakes that he's making. Mm-hmm. If that is Trey Ford making those mistakes, I agree with you. It's more. You can live with that in a different way than you can with MBT making those mistakes.
You could sell it more.
Yeah.
And while some fans would be upset still, there'd be some fans that could stomach it a little bit more because of the development you could throw out there.
Well, and it'd be more exciting because Trey Ford's going to do what Trey Ford does, and it's going to get us on the edge of our seats and get us excited to watch him run around and avoid sacks and make some of the runs he does. I mean, he's just a different football player. He brings something different to the table, and you and I have been talking about this for months. Like, at least put some series in for him, like 1.5, where he goes in and just changes things up and brings something else to the table.
They don't have a package for that. I mean, they said he doesn't want to be a gimmick quarterback.
Right, but that to me, that's not even a gimmick quarterback where you put him in there as a quarterback.
Yeah.
Changing
And
things up.
you let him. We've seen it with Jordan Lynch where he takes control for a few plays.
Absolutely.
I don't think we'll see it partly also because I don't think the coaching staff trusts him and wants to go that way with him. But this is the decision Chris Jones made, and we heard the fans at the game chanting, "We want Trey Ford," or whatever the chant was. You now have to live with that, and your players have to deal with that because, June 14th is going to come, or July 14th. This team could be 0-4 based on records, looking pretty good that they could be 0-4. The crowd's not going to be good that game if they are. But if you don't play well against Ottawa, those calls are going to keep coming. And you made that decision. You're going to have to live with that, you Chris Jones. I also now feel terrible for Trey Ford, though, because you're going to be put in such a rough spot if they have to go that way. If he comes in, there's going to be now, partly because of me and stuff, but there's all this hype around Trey Ford that he now has to be the savior of this team this season. He's got to turn it around. But to your point, what you're saying, Murray, he did that. He had to be it last year, and he did turn it around. Kept Chris Jones' job. Chris Jones now doesn't go with him. But that's a lot of pressure to put on this kid, again, if you have to go that way.
So
they need to really start winning
He brought some
games.
Excitement. He got us interested again.
Got some casual fans interested again.
And then you just pull the rug out from under the kid.
Where I go with the coaching change, though, is like, because I was ready to tee off on the team going into the game on Friday. I was with you. I thought it would be a blowout, and I was ready to tee off. But until 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, the Elks were in that football game.
Absolutely.
Yep. And I could have saw them winning that football game, which was, to me, the improvement.
Great, yeah.
It's if they do get blown out, though, to Toronto or BC, that's where I'm like, it's not here. If they could keep them close to Toronto, BC, then it's Ottawa, Hamilton, Saskatchewan, the 4 after.
Yeah.
You can maybe find a way to get close to 500 again. But if there's a bloat in those two, that's where I go. I don't know how you could stick with him as the coach of this team anymore if they drop to 1-3 or 0-4, where you blew 2 games, but also there's a blowout in there. And I'm scared of the blowout.
There's a few things like the budget, not paying him to be there. I think they don't want to be doing that right now.
No.
So that, I think, keeps him in there. The other thing, too, is I actually watched these last 2 games, and I look at them, especially after last week, and I think to myself, I don't mind their chances against Toronto and BC as much as I would be hopeless against them before. I know they got shut out twice by BC.
That's not happening.
This not. But I like
better not happen.
what I saw this past week, where I'm like encouraged that I think that they can give Toronto a run for their money. I think that they can give BC a good fight. Who knows what happens? I think I like, without Kelly being in there, I like their chances more against Toronto than BC, I think.
I see, this whole time I would have said Toronto was a game that's now winnable because of no Chad Kelly, and they lost a lot of pieces.
And they lost.
But then I saw what they did against BC, and I went, maybe actually they're still good.
I know.
And then what sucks is that they were on a bye week this week, so it's like week
What
1 you
are
never
they?
know.
Yeah.
And it would have been really nice to have had a week 2, but now I'm just based off of 1 week thinking, well, they might be really good, and that scares me. But it is also MBT going up against his former club. Curtis Gittins going against his former club. And the one thing I'll say about McLeod Bethel Thompson historically, I just don't feel like he's a consistent quarterback week in and week out. So based on that trend, I'm expecting he would have a pretty good game here. Like, he had a good week 1.
Yep.
They didn't lose week 1 largely because of McLeod Bethel Thompson. He played really well.
He's been
This
okay.
week,
for sure.
he's been this week. I would, if me and Jay did the reasons they lost, like my number 1 was MBT's play. Number 2 is the Dylan Mitchell drop, and I can't remember what we put number 3. He needed to be better in that game, and he wasn't.
And what would Trey Ford do? We don't know the answer to that, but Trey Ford. Did someone just score a goal in soccer?
Yeah, not even Belgium's down.
Oh boy. Well, here's the other piece to a coaching change is, in my opinion, with the looming ownership change. Even though they don't have that narrowed down to exactly who it's going to be yet, you have to involve those groups that may be the owner in this decision, because you can't handcuff them by making this decision without their approving of it.
Yeah, when Rick went in his pastime with this team, whenever you're Len Rhodes or anyone need to make a change, you go to the board and you have to get the board approval. The board don't matter.
No,
largely
it's irrelevant now.
It's you got to go to the ownership groups that are interested in that you're talking to, and they're the ones you have to pull.
Yeah.
And I said it on the post game show on Saturday too. If any of them say I don't want Chris Jones fired because we want to make the decisions, we want to make all the decisions, and we want to figure it out, then you got to leave it. You do have to leave it. I don't know how you get it out there that that's why he's sticking around type thing if it gets to a certain point. But if any of those, if all those groups sit there and go, yeah, we're getting rid of him anyway, so have fun.
Yeah.
Go do it. You got to do it. But it's getting close. There was a lot of calls for Chris Jones on Saturday night on the postgame show.
Damn.
Like he was starting. And I was actually a little surprised that it was coming because it was such a close game.
Right.
Yeah.
It was such a close
and Montreal.
game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Couple of texts, and I have a question for you, Murray, too. This one comes, it says, Jarvis Jackson was schooled by Stephen McAdoo. The offense looks like a McAdoo offense once again. It's just not smart. We rarely run the ball, and that is a terrible strategy. They did put the ball in Kevin Brown's hands more this past week, because I think where they have 10 rushes,
10 combined between Kevin Brown and Javon Lee in week one.
And then there was one by Prukup and one by Bethel Thompson.
Yeah,
but those don't count.
Little sneaks.
Yeah, they did have a couple of like little hitch passes to Brown. I think they had 5 in game one.
He was over, I think, 15 touches.
Yeah,
Kevin Brown this past week.
Yeah,
which is what you want.
This past week they gave it to him more. But what do you want? Like at least 20 carries.
We were saying on the pregame kickoff show, me and Jay, like I want Kevin Brown to be involved 15 to 20 touches.
Right.
Doesn't have to always be runs. It could be just little dump passes, hitch passes, all of that.
Yeah.
Kevin Brown should be involved 15 to 20 touches.
Yeah, that guy's got some
He's
talent.
good.
He's good.
He's good.
Yeah, really good.
1,000 yards last year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And all it takes is that one catch at that one moment or that one hole, and he's going to break it for 30, 40 yards.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what he does. And so, but to get that, you have to keep feeding him the ball.
Yeah.
So they did improve from that.
Offensive line's been okay.
Yeah.
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 It's held up mostly. Jason says not MBT's fault. They dropped nice passes. There were a couple of nice ones right there.
But the two interceptions were awful.
One was he was pressured but
he underthrew it.
Yeah,
he underthrew his receiver both times. And I've always of the mindset like you got to put more on those passes because if your receiver can't catch, he's got to get out of bounds or something. He underthrew them.
Yeah.
Looked
like double coverage.
Jay hated the second throw when he was under pressure. He says you got to take the sack there. You know why are you even throwing that football there? But even then, you have to put more on that because if he underthrows it, the defender gets to come make a play, and he did. But if he overthrows it, either Dylan Mitchell's making the play or it's just in the end zone landing past him. Right. Those are on McLeod Bethel Thompson. Those were 2 awful throws, and they led to 2 turnovers. The credit, and where I'll credit then the positive side for the defense, though, is those 2 interceptions and then the turnover on downs, I think led to 0 points. Yeah. The defense just held right there. Usually when you give up those turnovers, those could really hurt you. But this
especially the
defense
one on the
held
50. Like
they forced the field goal. It was missed though, but forced it to 3 points. Yeah. The defense played awesome.
That's good, considering there's still some young guys on there, the 2 linebackers.
How do you feel about Prukop coming in as the third down, like at the end of the game there? Time is of the essence. Takes him 3 times to get into the end zone late.
Yeah.
Which ran the clock down. And I'm thinking, man, this guy brought in just for this job. He's supposed to be really good at it. I think you mentioned it earlier today. He's good at it. And I'm like, man, in that
he was
scenario,
averaging like 4 yards on it last year.
Yeah. And so maybe
it's the O-line. Maybe that's where we look at the O-line.
Maybe they're, they know where they're going to run it, and so the defense can play. I don't know what the answer is there, but in that scenario, he needed to get that done on the first play, not the third.
Punch it in, save time on the clock.
Save time on the clock,
totally. I have a question. Okay, my second question that I want to bring up, it was for you. Like, you know the organization. You're in the executive directors club. That's where your suite is. Any hubbub about like the potential owner that you can share?
Oh, I mean, I hear bits and pieces of a few things, but it's pretty quiet for sure. But here's a conversation I did have the other night. A big wig from the team came to visit for a little while, and I said, you know what, you guys are going to sit around the office on Monday and evaluate this. I'm talking like this is about the crowd because there's nobody there.
I know.
And I said, you guys are going to sit around and you're going to talk about the weather that came through and how there was some big storms that came through. You're going to talk about the Oilers played last night, the Oilers play tomorrow, And I said, those are factors, but I said, they're also excuses. And, if they're at the next game, if there's not a massive crowd here, 25,000 or more, you guys have a big, and they have a problem. Because these are excuses. And the same thing, game one. Okay, it was a crappy crowd. Yes, the Oilers were playing. It was a 75th anniversary. There's still nobody. The weather sucked, I know, but
they haven't been. They've had a lot of unlucky things happen to them.
sure.
But in the end, if you're a winning team, you can get around.
It changes all.
You could get around a lot
The
of that. And they're not
Riverhawks
winning.
had 5,200 in a 9,000 seat ballpark yesterday. I know, and it was not a particularly nice day
it wasn't.
yesterday.
Windy. The wind
It
could
was
go away.
Father's Day. That's
It was
probably
Father's Day,
a
yeah.
good day for a ball
But
game.
Can we get the
They
wind
just-
to go away?
They had 70.
Clausen, figure this out.
Yeah, let's go,
exactly.
Clausen. But they had like 7,800, I think, for their home opener.
Yes, it was mass. It was packed.
There are ways, and I know it's very affordable, which is fantastic. But the Elks have worked at being more affordable. They have all kinds of deals, and it's just
Stingers
Stingers
sell
are
out,
doing really good,
and,
yeah.
and the Elks can't. And so why? I mean, the tailgating stuff I think is
It's
great.
awesome.
Trev
it's
and
helping.
Zach had a great time. They
Yeah.
came to Century Casino afterwards, and they were just having a great time.
a freaking frack. I love it.
So they're doing some better things,
It's-
except winning.
Yeah.
But
Well, winning's the big, but that's where it's different between the Stingers, the Riverhawks, and the Elks. Will always go to is that right now the Elks result matters. People walk away from Commonwealth on Saturday and they're mad. They're
Yeah,
going, this team lost again. If the Riverhawks win or lose, if the Stingers win or lose, people don't really care. With all due respect to those
They
teams,
just go have a good time.
they're there to have a good time. They're there to cheer on their team. They'd love to see a win. But like last year, I went to many Riverhawks games and they were a 500 team, I think, or something like that. I walked away happy every night.
Yeah.
Like this was a great night. This was awesome. But the Elks have that history. They've been around for 75 years. That the result matters more than everything else. And it hasn't been enough winning for almost 20 years. Like that's how far back we can go with this. 06 when they first missed the playoffs to now. So it's 18 seasons, take away the one lost season. So 17 seasons. I think they've had 3 home playoff dates.
Yeah. Damn.
That's-
And one of them was 2015. That was a great night.
it was, I think, 2012 they had one.
Yeah.
2014, 2015.
Yeah.
I don't think they've had any other home playoff dates. And this is a franchise that it wasn't about making the playoffs. It was about which home game are you getting? Are you getting the West Final or the West Semifinal? There were no crossovers. There were
Right.
no third places. It was, we're hosting a playoff game. We want the West Final, but it might be the semifinal. That's the standard that was set for this franchise. But now we're looking and going, they've hosted 3 in that time. They've had a few crossovers, but it's not good enough.
Yeah.
And people are pissed off. And why are they going to go watch?
how many people were actually there? Like really there?
12,000.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I mean, I took a
don't
look
think
into the
so.
crowd a few times, and
And I feel bad for the organization because the people behind the scenes are working so hard
they are.
Yeah.
to make it more fun, to make it a
Yeah.
better experience.
Yeah, they're doing some
but
good
in the
things.
end, they could only do so much if they don't get the dubs on the field.
Yeah.
Unless you're going to give everyone $1 million that walks through the turnstiles, like it's not. There's not much you could really do here.
Chat.
So-
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that here's the one thing I did hear about ownership is that at least one of the groups that they're down to, their plan would be to immediately change the name to Edmonton Esks.
I think you've mentioned that.
Oh,
And then the other little kind of interesting piece to that is the first game. I hung out a lot that night with Mike Riley and Ricky Ray.
Nice.
And we were talking about the Elks, and I kept referring to them as the Elks in some of our conversations, and they kept correcting me. No, this is the Eskimos. And like and you just keep pinpointing to that name change and everything. And of course, that's not why they suck and everything like that. But as much as you whether it should have or shouldn't have or whatever, it did do some significant damage in the public's opinion of the organization.
That didn't help. There's a lot of different things that hasn't helped with this, but in the end, I do. Winning is what matters most because when they've had the largest attendance in the last 10 years, it was the Labor Day rematch last year.
yeah.
What happened? They won 2 of their previous 3. There was excitement because they almost were 3 in a row in Calgary
Because of Trey
and
Ford.
exactly. And I here's where I'm going against what I believe in sports. You never make decisions based on business. You got to make decisions based on football. But this franchise probably needed to make a decision based on business too, because there was a football argument to stick with Trey Ford to get people in those seats.
Yep.
And this is the problem when you allowed Chris Jones to go this way, is that, with all due respect to McLeod Bethel Thompson, he's a great dude. I've got to interview him once. I love his personality. I love what he's trying to do with this team inside the locker room. Apparently a great leader, but he doesn't excite the fan base.
Right.
Trey Ford did and does. And that's... I don't know if they would have had a better attendance for the Saskatchewan game necessarily because of the Oilers with Trey Ford was starting. I think there would have been a better attendance this past week if Trey Ford was still around.
Like I said, absolutely everything that's happening are factors.
Yep.
But man, like when they're having their meetings today in the office, they gotta be just like, what can we do?
I know. Jasmine texts in. She says they need to bring 50 Cent or an equivalent like the BC Lions. Honestly, I'm surprised they could afford him. I was there, and the Lions fans said they've never seen it that busy before. 50.
Well, those fans that haven't been there for like 10 years, because that used to be in the late 2000s, early 2010s. It was that full.
Yeah.
The thing about that now would be, because of everything they've done with Tailgate, because of everything they've done for the experience, more people need to go experience that and realize, oh, this is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Like Trev and Zach going to the Tailgate really for the first time, they're walking away going, they're excited to be there all year now. How do you get people to come and experience that? Maybe it is getting that show. I don't think they have the money, though, for that right now.
Yeah.
But if you
So
got those
many
people,
issues.
maybe there's enough that come and, oh, well, you want to know, so I'm going to this game to see, I don't know what an equivalent of 50 Cent would be type of thing, but Shania Twain, the Elks go get her.
Right.
Because she's bringing all the good juju to the city of Edmonton.
Yes.
I'll go check out the Tailgate before I get to see the show. And then they go, oh, this is a fun time. And then maybe more people walk, hey, no, this isn't bad. And I won't go to 9 games a year, but I'll hit 2 or 3 a year. And now all of a sudden you can just get a few more. Maybe they have to try to get something like that done. But really, it all, like, there's no real answers, I think, right now until we know who the new owners are and they go about and do this their way. I just really hope that there's new owners. I want them to take their time and get the right person.
Yeah.
But I hope that they do it where that new ownership could come in this season and start the evaluation process so that for the off season, they could start putting what they want in place.
I agree. They need to take their time and get the right person, but they need to do it fast.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
You know, what is encouraging at the end of the day, though, is, and alluding to what Jasmine texted in, you get 55,000 people at BC. Yes, 50 Cent's opening up. But last year they had a big crowd, I think, for their home opener. I can't remember who they had perform, but it was a big deal. Was it Imagine Dragons?
That was 2 years. Was it Shawn Mendes?
It was something.
Because Imagine Dragons was a couple of years ago, because I remember I got really mad because the game got, like, it was supposed to be 8 o'clock start and it wasn't until 8:30. And I was really pissed off that the game didn't start till 8:30. Me and Dusty got into it about that.
How many fans did BC have at their home opener this weekend?
55,000.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And
I
that's-
heard.
that's
I'm
what-
are
And
you
they
out of
didn't
your
all
mind?
stay. When you look at the pictures,
Yeah.
there's a lot that came just for Fitty. But there was also still a lot of people still there.
Right.
And who knows how many of those people saw their
Right.
first BC Lions game.
And they're saying that people are actually paying attention to the Lions again in the Vancouver area. Nathan Rourke jerseys were selling when he was on the team a couple of years ago. Like,
Imagine that. A star quarterback, you could sell jerseys.
well, and a Canadian one at that, too. And then the other thing, too, I was talking to Joey Alfieri, who is now with the Alouettes.
Yes, Joey.
And I was talking to Joey, and I'm like, how's it going? Like, it seems like the new owner's, like, breathing new life and getting a lot of good traction in Montreal. And he goes, that is actually happening. Like, people care about the Alouettes. People are showing up to the games. And so to see Vancouver go through what it's going through, bit of a renaissance, which is great. And that's supported by, like, these big acts coming in. But then Montreal as well. Like, those are markets. Those are big cities in our country that people there, we just looked at and we're like, I don't think that's a good city anymore for CFL. But that's not true.
But and that's where the hope is for the Elks for me here
Yeah.
in Edmonton, is that growing up, I grew up on those early 2000s Eskimo teams at the time, and the rivalry was Montreal. Montreal was a great market. BC had great teams from Damon Allen, and then who came after Damon? But I know there's Casey
Lulay.
Printers in there, but then there was Travis Lulay. They had those,
Dickinson was there for a bit, too.
Dickinson, and they had those great teams.
Yeah, they did.
And BC loved their franchises. And then they kind of dipped in terms of winning, and people stopped caring. And now there's new ownership there, but also the Lions have been good the last couple of years.
True.
The Montreal Alouettes just won a Grey Cup,
Yeah,
and they've started. You know, when Kahari Jones, before it was at 2019, he got them to the playoffs, and they were exciting to watch again. Look what winning does.
Yeah.
Look what winning can do.
Hey.
This team just like start with getting the winning product on the field and then go from there. Win football games, guys. Like Chris Jones, Giroy, figure this out.
I still have a tough time seeing how Danny Machoja can build a Grey Cup winner with what the heck he did to the Edmonton Eskimos when he was running the show here. Oh my God.
And full credit because they went through that ownership change last year, so they lost a lot of free agents.
Yeah.
They couldn't sign a bunch of guys. They had to go out, deal with things later. And he built the team. I didn't think that Danny could have done that.
Yeah,
he
I
was
agree.
not he made a lot of mistakes here in Edmonton.
Yes, he did.
But he did it.
Yeah,
So-
and it shows. I mean, this is a 9-team league,
Yeah.
and they showed that it's a turnaround isn't
happen.
necessarily that doesn't have to be that long. And so, I mean, it can happen here. I mean, we can be a good quality contending team in
Sure.
a big hurry. I just don't get why it's taken so long.
We're live on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Tune in iHeartRadio, as well as those watching us on YouTube. This is your clear choice for Edmonton Sports. Edmonton Sports Talk coming up at 11 o'clock today. We got the Lock Shop, Dusty and Huss. I'm sure they'll recap the CFL weekends, start looking ahead to Game 5 tomorrow. Oil Stream at noon is Tommy and Dusty. A lot of Oiler discussion there as well. Tomorrow, GCLD's Oil Stream pre- and post-game show right here on EST at 4:30. We'll get to the Great Outdoors Comedy Festival qualifying. Let's do that right now, actually. Great Outdoors Comedy Festival. We gave away the table a few weeks ago for the Friday show. On Friday, we gave away the table to the Saturday show. Now, for the next 3 weeks, we're qualifying someone for the VIP table for 4 to the Great Outdoors Comedy Festival, which takes place July 12th through the 14th. The Sunday is the 14th. Bert Kreischer, Whitney Cummings are headlining the Sunday show. We got a VIP table for 4 where you just get to go, sit there. There's like a QR code or something. You scan it, you order your food, drinks. They'll just bring it to you. Alley Cat, the official beer of the Great Outdoors Comedy Festival here in Edmonton, which means the 6 o'clock or lager. You can get that while having some great laughs down at Kingsman. If you want to get in touch with, or if you want to qualify for, or be into the draw, which we'll do in 3 weeks, July 5th, I think we're giving it away. For this VIP table, text us Elks. Elks to 780-218-9999. Elks to 780-218-9999. And you'll go into a draw for the chance to win the VIP table for 4 to the Great Outdoors Comedy Festival on Sunday, July 14th with Bert Kreischer and Whitney Cummings. You can get your tickets now for Saturday and Sunday. GreatOutdoorsComedyFestival.com. Friday, completely sold out.
Beautiful. I just read your emails. Your business emails are very thorough, and I appreciate that. Do you,
Always
do you
are.
write them out and then like schedule send? I like schedule send.
No, I send them when I do them.
That's okay. And I was like,
because I sent that last night. I usually
very-
send emails at night. I
Yeah.
like sitting down and writing the emails for the whatever that is. But no, when
with
it
the snifter of brandy.
no, when Iwanyk comes out,
Yeah.
it's like when I was the APD at the old place. When it has to be business, I want things completely laid out.
They're
that
very well laid
There
out.
is no, there's nothing missed. So if anyone misses something, I could point to. It was right in the email,
Yeah.
guys. It was right in my email.
you were
So
very thorough.
There's a few more emails that I have to send out.
Like when we start giving out VIP tickets for day.
Well, then a
for
reminder
Sunday,
and-
yeah. Very good.
I want to make
Very good.
I want to make things easier for you guys. Whatever I can
Help
do.
me
That's
help you.
the thing here. I'm just trying to be that guy that goes, you don't have to remember these things. I'm here to remember those things for you. Basically, I'm the assistant to all of you guys.
Yes.
So whatever I could do to help you guys remember things, I try to do to get that
They
going.
don't need AI. They just need MI.
Exactly.
Iwanyk.
Exactly.
Boom. He's
That's
a
what they
machine.
want. I like that. AI scares the hell out of me. It's gonna take jobs away.
Yeah, well.
Of course it is.
I watched the story. It was they had an AI priest. They called him Father Justin, and he said it was okay to baptize kids with Gatorade.
Well, Google AI has had a big issues lately because people would ask it these questions, and it gives terrible advice. Like it is bad.
Oh boy.
So yeah, baptized with Gatorade.
Yeah, so they've now downgraded Father Justin to just Justin on, I think it's like Catholic.com or something like that. And yeah, he encouraged you to baptize your child in Gatorade and said it's okay. So they have just made him Justin, and he provides you wisdom if you need help with some religious stuff and guidance and all that. But yeah, don't baptize your kid in Gatorade unless you're like really into Gatorade.
Family just loves Gatorade.
Holy water, Gatorade. Holy water, Gatorade.
Make the Gatorade with holy water.
How about baptized with 6 o'clock lager?
I would not encourage
No,
that.
you would encourage that.
Well, let's ask what
I mean, if you're an adult getting baptized with 6 o'clock or lager, then fine. But
Birdie
not
juice.
Yeah, birdie juice is good stuff.
Birdie booze.
Birdie booze. Sorry,
Birdie
yeah.
booze, sorry. Yeah,
You have it at the ranch now, right? Did you bring it on?
My understanding is it's going to be, by the time your tournament comes, it's going to be the 6 o'clock lager is going to be the beer of the month in our snack shack.
Damn.
And Birdie booze is going to be around.
Schmitty's been all over it,
That's
Birdie
all
Booze
Adam's job. He looks after all that stuff. So
Murray's
I'm
too
hearing
busy
those
hitting
rumors.
hole-in-ones.
He's draining.
Exactly. You know,
He's too busy getting that
187.
done.
I got
Yeah,
nothing
yeah.
better to do than get hole-in-ones all the time. You know,
No
once,
big deal.
once every 31 years. Yeah.
Hey, you've got 3 now.
Yes, sir.
That's 3 more than the two
Any
of us
them.
combined.
Yeah.
I want to talk some US Open here.
Let's go for it.
Do we start with Bryson or do we go to Rory?
Well, I would
they
miss
go-
that putt that Rory missed.
They go hand in hand.
Which one? Both of them?
Well, the knee knocker 3-footers.
What was the
Killed me.
combined?
You know that I 3-jam everything. So
I think it was combined 7 feet between the two putts. One was a 3-footer, one was a 4-footer.
yikes.
But you know, when you look at that, winning is hard, and you know you related to what we're talking about the Oilers earlier. Winning the Stanley Cup final, Stanley Cup championship is not easy.
No.
You got to be the best out of 32 teams and get to the dance and then win 4 games. It's not easy. Rory McIlroy, one of the best golfers in the world, hasn't won a major for 10 years.
Yeah.
It's not easy. And that pressure clearly is building and it's getting to him. And he played his way into contention. But then when it was on the line, he couldn't handle it. And he missed 2 putts that he would normally never miss. And that it's hard to win, man.
2 foot 6 inches on 16, 3 foot 9 inch putt on 18.
Yeah.
Lost by 1 stroke.
Yeah.
And there's a lot going on with him beyond not winning majors.
Well, yeah,
There's the
he's
personal
dealing with
life.
a lot of personal life stuff.
There was the
yeah.
divorce. Now
Back
They're
to
staying
back.
together.
reconciliation or
right?
something.
Yeah.
So there's that personally, what you're dealing with. And then everything that happened with Liv, you know, how he fully went out against Liv, became the face of it, how PGA turned their backs on him. By PGA Tour, Jay Monahan.
Yeah.
How he's come out and he says he wish he actually didn't take as strong of a stance now back then.
Oh, wow.
So there's a lot going on with him.
Yeah.
But like seeing those putts, and like it was one even for going on 18. Like I didn't feel confident for him because I just saw what I saw in 16, and he had put it. He had that par 3. Was that 16 or wherever it was where he sent it over? Like I remember they were showing right before his tee where like it runs all around the green, and he sent it long, and I was like, well, this is going to be an easy bogey for him type thing there. Like he had the tournament.
He did.
And he let it slip
his.
away, and then those 2 putts just couldn't get it done. And he's taking a little bit of heat also for just bolting. I think it was 52 minutes from the time Bryson's putt went in to win to when his flight took off.
Wow.
He left that quick. He didn't congratulate Bryson.
Yeah.
He didn't stick around for media. He just bolted
Well,
Right to the plane and up in the air.
and gone.
I get it. I mean, it's maybe not the right way to go about things, but like, man, like he hasn't won for 10 years, a major for 10 years, and he had it, man. He's crushed it. You saw the picture of him watching it, and just the distress you saw on his face, and man, like, I feel bad for the guy. He's absolutely one of the best in the world, and it's crushing for him. And like absolutely, all the pressure of his home life situation and some of the other stuff is there too. But man, give Bryson credit. That bunker shot he hit was absolutely out of this world. How good that bunker shot was in that type of pressure situation, and also good for him, and how he's changed the whole outlook on who he is as a person and a player, and gone from being like the guy everyone hates to being, you know, all of a sudden popular. Bryson DeChambeau is all of a sudden popular. It's great for him that he's turned that around, and what he did afterwards. He didn't leave until he signed every autograph. That video you showed me of him with the media guy hitting the same bunker shot. I mean, that's
Did
all
it better.
Yeah, he's having fun. He's enjoying it. He's involving everyone, and yeah, so good for him.
I don't like this turnaround of Bryson. I'm still
neither.
against Bryson.
I wanna
I'm
hate
so
him.
glad,
You wanna hate
and I
him?
still will. I still will hate him. I'm not turning on this one.
Yeah,
I'll let everyone else start enjoying Bryson, but I'm sticking. I'm petty. I get stuck in my ways. Bryson, I disliked him all. It started with his hat. That was the initial reason I hated
How about
Bryson.
him taking 10 minutes to make a putt?
yeah.
That came
Yeah.
over time. So I cheer against Bryson. That's why I was really in the Rory camp.
I'm with
so
you. I'm still not.
I'm not a big
on the Bryson
But I don't think I've ever
bandwagon,
seen
but
this happen.
Yeah,
where
it's-
some golfer was so hated,
Yeah,
but has turned it around and is one of the most popular golfers now. Like people were chanting USA to Rory. Like Rory's usually the fan favorite.
Yeah.
But people were cheering more for Bryson yesterday than Rory.
yeah, that's
That's
crazy.
how much Bryson has turned his
Another-
appeal around to
Yeah.
everyone.
Another interesting factor in the round yesterday is Rory and Cantlay don't get along. In a recent interview, I don't know what the details were around it, but in an interview, Rory called him a dick, referred to Cantlay as a dick,
Really?
and then they get paired together in the final round yesterday. So that had to have been a little bit of a awkward scenario.
Well, I'm trying to think. So I think there might have is Cantlay part of the players board or whatever. So there might be something with the whole
maybe,
all that stuff. Or I remember there was, and I might have the names wrong, but there was a tournament a couple weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago, where Rory, Spieth, and Cantlay were together, I think. And Spieth and Cantlay were getting a little heated with Rory, if I recall the names correctly. And so maybe there was something that played from there that Rory did something and Cantlay and Spieth were kind of like, no, or rules things, and maybe he doesn't like Cantlay because of that.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the details were, but I mean, the U.S. Opens are fun though, man. Those guys were grinding. It was
It's the
playing
best.
Tough. It's a lot of
I
fun.
love the players that the players hated. I love that the players go in and they whine some of them because of how hard it is. But it's like, yes, once a year, deal with it.
Yeah.
Learn. Thank you, USGA. Never change.
Yeah.
Make this as difficult as possible for them because they've got it easy in the rest of the PGA Tour all year. Augusta's not easy,
No.
but it's not super hard.
Yeah.
The
PGA
Open
Championship.
it's all because of weather.
Yeah, not necessarily the course, the weather. You're right.
But that's one where you could see old guys. Really, it could play favorite with the links courses.
Wow.
They could be in contention a little bit. So it's not what they do with the USGA, and the PGA is what it is. PGA Championship.
It's how the U.S. Open differentiates itself from the other majors is
Yeah.
the difficulty of it, and that's the Masters is the Masters. I mean,
Yep.
everyone loves it. The Open's the Open because of the different conditions and the different style of golf course. The U.S. Open is the U.S. Open because it's way more difficult. PGA Championship, just
It's the fun one,
Yeah,
almost just
sure.
like
The
go
fun
enjoy
one, I
yourself.
like that,
As
yeah.
a golfers,
Go have a
fun.
good time.
yeah. So they all have
It's
their
number
own
4 of the
little
4.
niche.
We all know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But so they all have their little place and their own things about them that differentiate themselves from each other. And that was the question of the day on the VIP Golf Show yesterday. What's your favorite major and why? Vast majority of people said the Masters.
Yeah.
You're gonna say
Augusta,
you're going to say
the
Masters.
Open, US, PGA is my order.
That's your order. Wow.
Yeah.
What's yours, Tommy G?
I love the Open.
I'm curious. Yeah, the British Open or the Open.
The Open, yeah.
I always am. I'm intrigued by. Then Augusta obviously is great, and then the PGA Championship, U.S. Open. I'm like whatever.
So you're the Open first.
yeah,
Over Masters.
yeah.
Wow, that's unique.
I think we
Good on
blow
you.
up the Masters. I think it's kind of like World Juniors where it's overhyped, but it is brilliant. Like I love it, and the pageantry that goes with it. It's to me, it's really cool. But I just like there's something about the Open, and like the different style and the history and all that. Where I'm like, this is cool, and like they're dealing with the elements, and it looks like it's windy and cold, rainy, and it's like that's where golf started. That really kind of pulls my attention, and that's why I like it. So that's why I would. And then PGA Champion, U.S. Open. U.S. Open, I don't mind when they make it so hard because it's like par means something. And I can
Absolutely.
appreciate that.
A birdie is
Yeah.
a big deal.
Yeah,
because they're
exactly.
not easy to come and get.
Scotty Scheffler, I believe, got the best player in the world, got 3 birdies, I think, this week. 3
That's insane.
in 72 holes. Scotty Scheffler.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was
That's
your
something
order?
else. Well, mine's Masters for sure, and then I'm U.S. Open because,
Okay.
but I don't like it when the scores get too low at the U.S. Open because I want it to be hard. I like it when they're right around par to win, maybe 1 under, 2 under at the best. Then the Open and PGA. Like I'm not a links golf fan. I don't love it.
Yeah, it's just the aesthetic of it to me is what I like about it. I'm like, okay, this isn't the usual prim and proper, pristine golf course, and I like to see some of the interesting shots. They have at St. Andrews? They have that one like rock wall, and I've seen guys bank it off the wall and get it on the green and stuff like that. I'm like, that's neat to me.
Sodwall bunkers are fun, where guys are going to hit it out sideways because they can't go forward. Yeah, some of the stuff's cool. I mean, I don't dislike the Open Championship. Right. I mean, Augusta's Augusta. Like if you could play any golf course in the world, is Augusta not going to number one on your list? I mean, that's
up there. Yeah,
like for me,
it's one of those things. I got to just start covering the Augusta. Not to go care about the actual tournament, but to get into the draw to try to play it.
Yes, how incredible would that be? I still say we should just apply for media passes to go there. I don't know how that works, but
I plan on looking next year.
Yeah,
because we got to start like at least a couple of us, and it just go every year until we golf it.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, so
I'll pay every year for that. I don't care.
Okay, figure that out.
Because we're lucky ones.
EST,
like most people can't just go potentially have that chance to golf it. Media does.
Yeah.
And I can't believe I've never taken advantage of this for as long as I've been in media.
Do it.
So upcoming, this was announced recently. I'm not sure what year it starts, so maybe in 2 or 3 years, Augusta is going to start allowing public tee times for 1 month a year, $10,000 green fee. Are you paying it?
No, because I'm just going to pay. Well, actually, probably add up more over the time of going to cover the Masters, but maybe it'll come in a little under.
$10,000 green fee.
That's insane.
They'll sell out.
10,000 green fee.
They'll sell out because
they
there's going to
will,
be a
yeah,
number of
absolutely,
people
they can.
I wonder if anyone will resell that and what that would go for.
The aftermarket.
Oh my!
Would I pay 10?
Now you think about that because it's also going to be probably 3 or 4 travel.
No, I'm thinking that's a 15 to 20. Well, that's US too, so it's like a 25K, 20 to 25K. Yeah,
I think it's a little much.
That's steep.
If it was if it was 10 to 15 Canadian,
then maybe.
There would be a maybe for me of one time in my life, saving my money up when I'm 50 or something, going to do it. Maybe 45.
If you won the $100,000 EST hole-in-one money, then maybe.
Oh, if I had the 100K, easily.
Then you're going to the
If I was in on that and I won it, I would immediately put some aside to go, yeah, I'm doing that.
Yeah.
Some could go to, mortgage, all that stuff, but no. If I'm going to go one travel thing, if I could get one of those,
you're in, hey?
I would do it, I think.
That's cool.
It's the one course. It's the top for me, just completely.
100%.
St. Andrews is up there. I do want to do TPC Sawgrass just to do 17. I do want to do the Coeur d'Alene one too with the floating green.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I've not played that one. I played Gazzola.
Always wanted to do after the 15 U.S. Open Chambers Bay because of how the players just hated and how messed that course was.
Yeah.
But now they've made the course more normal, so it doesn't intrigue me anymore.
How about Bethpage Black?
Where they have the sign. Is that the one with the sign?
Yeah.
Where they say this isn't for just anyone. Like that, this is tough.
The bunkering out there just looks so mean and harsh. I mean, that place looks just scary. That appeals to me. But do you like the British style of golf?
I love it. I love link style courses too. I like playing them.
Yeah.
There's just something about watching the Open. I don't know. It sucks me in every year.
Yeah. Yeah, I just don't love it where you got to hit the ball and land your ball 30, 40 yards short of the green, let it run up. And
I love that rolling.
But it's not about the best shot because your ball is
100%
how lucky you get on the roll. And
because you got to put your shot in the right spot so it rolls in the right spot.
Fair.
If you hit it too far, it's going to go well past, and that was your fault. Why'd you hit it so far?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Did you see the face Murray made when he's like, blah?
Yeah, I don't like that.
The other part to that is that, like, I don't know, maybe I like playing it because when I hit that ball, it will roll a lot further. I get the extra yards.
Yeah. Really crushed that one.
I can really say, I had a 270 drive today. Look at me go.
130
40
on
yards
the ground.
of roll, yeah.
Whatever it takes to make you feel good about yourself. Hey,
Oh,
Maddie?
baby.
Finds whatever it is.
Yeah.
In golf, I'll take any little bit I get.
Yeah.
No. Well, so it was a fun U.S. Open though. PGA and CBS, they're probably, or no, that's NBC had it, right? Yeah, that's NBC. Probably pretty happy with the ratings. They'll probably come out just because you had two big names going at it.
Yeah,
and Liv is happy because their guy won it. And now we'll wait for maybe this week the next announcement with PGA and Liv.
No.
Because there was last week there was supposed to be an agreement on a framework, I think it was, but they didn't want to announce it during the U.S. Open.
Okay.
So now we're waiting to see what it's going to be and how this goes. And
I got a message from somebody that's kind of in the know saying that something's going to be announced soon, that something bigger is going to be announced soon. But what soon is and what that announcement is, time will tell. But
Interesting.
so, it just sucks now that we're not going to get to see best on best. Like, really, 4 times a year?
Yep.
unless that's where I want to see what this framework would be between Liv and PGA. Both are going to live, no pun intended.
Yeah.
But is there going to be an easier way to cross type thing? Is there going to be? Are we going to elevate 3 or 4 more PGA events for Liv guys that will be eligible? Will there be a couple of times where some PGA we'll build some PGA super teams almost, and they'll go play in the Liv for a couple of tournaments?
I feel like you'll see something along those lines for sure. There's going to be more best on best. There has to be.
I watched Liv. Was it last week? Recently, and still It's there. It's almost there, but not quite. Like there's some little things about it, some elements that just seem off when I'm watching. I'm like,
the scoreboard starts with the scoreboard. To me,
scoreboard's weird.
As soon as I throw it on and I see that scoreboard, I go, "This just doesn't look right."
Yeah, I'm like, something's off here.
Well, I had Josh Clausen on the VIP golf show because he's the biggest live golf fan in the world, and so he had a segment where it's all right. Curtis and Stock and I are right here. You convinced us that we should watch Liv and that we should be interested in Liv. And the end of the segment, it was a great segment, a lot of fun. Obviously, having Josh on the show. Said to Stalker, "Are you convinced?" No, so not me neither. Like, I don't know. It's just not right. I wish it would just go away and get back to normal. It's not going to be that way, but to get those guys back playing over here more often, and it would just
it doesn't even have to be over here.
Well,
like
fair.
it would be. And this is maybe where the PGA kind of screwed things up over the years. Is that they should have probably maybe added more tournaments around the world.
Yeah,
because a lot. You look
point.
at how many of those live guys aren't American. There's quite a bit.
Yeah.
Maybe you screwed up by making this as American as you could, as opposed to maybe we should have done a bit more of having an event in Spain, having an event in Australia, having an event maybe in South America, the South American Open, and it rotates between those countries or something like that, and maybe be more F1.
Great point. Now, the LPGA Tour does that though.
Yeah,
but the LPGA Tour, like what Stalker and I talk about all the time, is like if their goal is to keep the LPGA Tour a secret, they're doing a really good job right now. I mean, it's just horrendous what's going on with their marketing and getting. I mean, there's a lot of great storylines going on out there, and nobody knows about it.
Now, I've just become a big Charlie Hall fan, the female John Daly. But she's like, she's personable. She's ripping darts, signing autographs on the course. She's a good golfer. Like, that's someone they should be marketing.
Absolutely.
Brooke Henderson, I'd love to see more of her face out there. I know Nelly Corda gets a lot of love, and rightly so.
Yeah,
but
absolutely. But did she win 6, 7 tournaments in a row this year? I mean, unheard of, but nobody knew about it.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Brooke Henderson, the only person that said no to me to be a guest on the VIP golf show.
I actually... Connor Halley back at 1260 and myself, we've tried a number of times to try to get Brooke Henderson on, and it was constant no's.
Yeah.
And it was always like, well, this is like
help
grow.
Me,
like you
help
need to grow. Like the part, like it's Caitlin Clark's the prime example of the WNBA. Like she's got the WNBA on her shoulders right now, but she's great with the media and she's very well spoken. Again, she had a big incident happening this weekend. Angel Reese with a flagrant foul.
Oh my God! Yeah.
But then Caitlin Clark handled it so well with the post game, going into basketball play and all of that. And but it's like if you want to grow golf in Canada, if you're the face of it, and with all like this isn't to all the PGA guys, you're not the face of golf in Canada. It's Brooke Henderson.
Yeah, that's fair.
You've got to then at times then be the face and go have those conversations and be in the media. And you don't have to do all of it, but you got to do it occasionally. Yeah. And it can't 100%. Be just at a tournament type thing. You know, Christine Sinclair was one who did a lot of media throughout her time with the national team. That's the one thing I would like more from Brooke Henderson is be out there a little more to sell this game so more people know what's going on. At halftime, spoiler alert, I don't know, I should have done that earlier when it comes to Euros. If you're recording any of this, I didn't do it earlier. Spoiler, so you have time to turn down, mute, all of that. 1-0, halftime. Belgium down.
Wow.
That's stunning.
Is that stunning?
That's stunning. Belgium's supposed to run away with this group, and they're down 1-0 at half. So I haven't seen what the possession numbers are looking like.
There's a tweet out by the away fans, and it has an image, and it says, an Austrian fan has just committed the ultimate crime, snapping a baguette in front of Frenchmen.
Oh, my goodness.
So we had the pasta with Albania against Italy.
I think this
and
is
now
a
a baguette
mock.
to the French.
Oh,
Things are getting spicy.
The Euro 2024 is in good spirits, and obviously it's staged. But
Yeah, that's fun.
yeah, like I'm enjoying
Vancouver
that.
fans can learn a lot from that type of banter.
Yes, they could.
Banter could be very wholesome between sides, where it doesn't have to be so vicious. Those are fun. Vancouver, learn something.
They're still in the nasty chat, the Canucks fans. It's like,
boy.
oh my.
Possession's relatively close. Slovakia's had more chances, like more shots and on goal and same amount of attempts.
For those
Good
of us
for
that
Slovakia.
don't know soccer, relate Slovakia to Belgium in the NHL.
Well, let me take a look at the rankings.
And Slovakia is like who?
That'd be like Columbus up 1-0 on the Golden Knights. That's how I.
Well, that happens.
So Slovakia's 48th in the world.
And Belgium is what?
They're for the longest time they were number one.
Yeah, they
may
were
be
right
sitting
up
at
there.
right now. I want to say they're top 5, but they're number 3. But they're not the third best in the world. The rankings are very weird. Belgium is like they're the San Jose Sharks who always were really good but never could win. So that's who Belgium is right there.
Okay.
Slovakia then would be that maybe I don't want to say as low as Columbus, but maybe Columbus
Yeah.
in a sense. If we're gonna go on those NHL terms.
I don't want to go
in
as
that
low as
time.
Columbus, but Columbus.
Well, I'm going to go with them then in the end. Like,
Well, yeah.
Not when Columbus was as good when they were a playoff team, but like Columbus down near the bottom type
Columbus did sweep the Tampa Bay Lightning a couple
thing. Yeah,
years
but that was
back,
with so this is before that. So this is like a few years prior to that when the Sharks were really good, but old. Like almost when the Sharks went to like the Cup final type Shark those years. And then pick a team that was missed the playoffs by a good chunk. That's where I'd put Slovakia versus Belgium right now.
Okay.
And so it's 1/2, but
That's not
Belgium is not going to, they're not going to be. They had a terrible World Cup too last time. They beat Canada, but then they were disastrous after that. So they had a golden generation. They failed at it. And now this is not a good start
No,
to the
not a good
next
start,
world, next evolution or next era of Belgium football.
Soccer.
Football.
Stop
Football.
it.
Football.
Don't worry. Thursday, Canada, Argentina, 6:00 on TSN. Tune in. Canada taking on Messi. Davies, the captain, taking on Messi, the
I
captain.
might have to brush my teeth at that time.
Messi and Davies, they'll shake hands to start. We'll get that image. They'll exchange the little banners that they do.
don't-
Your son will be
I
interested.
know. Don't tell my kid about this.
He'll know about it already.
Don't do this to me.
It's
I
your
have
country.
to watch too much TV as it is right
your
now.
country.
With the Celtics.
They're going to win tonight. They're going to have the championship.
And then Oilers. I mean,
Yeah, but then that's
I need
not
to
till
go,
Friday. So
I
Thursday,
need
what do you-
sleep.
Wednesday.
I need sleep.
There's nothing happening Wednesday.
Okay, I can sleep on Wednesday.
Exactly. And then Thursday you can watch Canada and Argentina. Friday you can watch Oilers Game 6. Saturday you can watch Elks Argos. Boom.
There's the week.
Scheduled your week for you.
Done.
Wednesday's your day off.
Wednesday's my day.
Wednesday's your day off.
Thanks, I
Relax.
appreciate
He'll
that.
send it to you in a formal email.
Yeah, a very formal email.
Yeah.
I like it.
I'll give you the channels and the times.
I
and
appreciate that.
I'll do all
He's
that.
very good at that.
Yeah, I wouldn't know where to find a soccer game on TV.
TSN.
TSN.
This whole summer for the next month, TSN. Starting on Friday, this past Friday, through to July 14th, there's a soccer game on TSN every day except for 5 days. and the first day where we don't get soccer is July 3rd. It's great. Oh, it's amazing. So TSN, when it's at its height, we get a 7 a.m., a 10 a.m., a 1 p.m., a 4 p.m., and I think a 6 p.m. game.
Yeah, TSN is not going to be turned on my TV then for a long time.
Your son will convert you.
Except for Celtics tonight.
And then you're going to see the preview for Canada, Argentina, and your son's going to be like, yes, that's on Thursday. Dad, we're watching this.
He probably would.
And Dad, we're watching. Then you're going to have to watch it 6 o'clock. Watch closely. Maybe you'll see me. I'm in the upper deck, but I'll wave.
You'll wave. Hello, Murray.
I'll text you.
I'll bring a sign.
I see you.
Hey, Murray. Hey, Murray. Are you watching?
Yeah.
This is gonna be good thing. I'm like for at least this week. I'm only here tomorrow, so laptop will go away. But tomorrow, I don't even know what I'm watching at 10 o'clock tomorrow.
That's too funny.
The second hour of the Hangout for the next little while is always going to be me watching soccer and trying to figure out where our conversation is going because I'm too busy watching soccer.
Who's doing the Hangout while you're away?
Me.
He's here.
Well, what if the Oilers are busy and you got to be at the rink?
I'll be here.
We got Turkey, Georgia tomorrow at 10 o'clock.
Plus, there's a million days between games now. So if they make it to 6, then. And they've been going later, so I'd go from here right to the rink.
Okay.
Yeah.
You'd be able to figure it out.
I'll figure it out.
And you're gone from when to when?
Very quick. Fly out. Like tomorrow night, we head to the airport. My dad and I, we have a red eye. And then a fly back Friday.
Oh, okay.
So it's very quick.
All right.
Very, very quick. But I got to go see Canada. Got to go see Messi.
We are going to have a great match. I use we on Canada soccer. Yeah.
I will go this far. This is how soccer works. Just need a 1-0 loss would be fantastic.
Aim low and achieve.
What's your predicted score then? 1-0 loss?
There'll be a loss. Just keep it close. Because then they get Peru and Chile. If they could take care of business with Peru and Chile, they move on. But if it comes down to goal differential, that's where you need the Argentina. Like, you got to look at this is the scheduled loss. Just make sure it's not a crazy loss. You lose 3-0, 4-0, that could be disastrous, where you might then equal points with Peru later, let's say, but they move on because they didn't lose to Argentina as much. So that's the key.
Is this the first game for both Canada and Argentina?
Yes. It's the opening of the whole tournament. Oh. So it's very big. It's great that we start off with tough of the group and work our way, but that's where you just got to keep it tight. Keep it tight. I just wanted to give credit. I think it was, here it is. Rob is our qualifier for the $100,000 hole-in-one contest presented by Golf Town. Next chance to qualify coming up during the lock shop. You could try to be like Murray and hit a hole-in-one, but you get $100,000 if you do it on July 3rd at the Ranch Golf and Country Club. I did not get $100,000. Murray, it's great having you in. Congratulations once again.
Appreciate it.
VIP Golf Show. Check it out, EdmontonSportsTalk.com for this past weekend. And then there'll be a lot of talking about his hole-in-one, I'm sure, again, coming up this Sunday, 8 o'clock. Tommy, you've got the oil stream coming up at noon. Thank you to everyone for tuning in to the Hangout. Today on this Monday, it is Monday, up next, it is the Lock Shop here in Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. Don't go anywhere. That's coming up right away. Thanks for tuning in to the Hangout.
Look at this. Let's go.
There you go, right in front of the camera.
First-time guest, long-time listener, fan of the original draft commissioner.
Welcome to the EST Hangout presented by White Claw Hard Seltzer. The difference is clear. Matt Iwanyk, Tom Gazzola with here. Joining us today,